Zoe?
Oh, sure, buddy.
Damn.
You a bartender? You a bartender?
Yeah, I do bartender. Yeah. Shit. When I first came to America, that was my job. That's what I did was bartender.
Really?
I be bought the car, you know. Most of the money for the car came from the fucking working on bars. My first 2 weeks when I came over $900. I mean, lived in the Best Western Hotel for the first 2 weeks. Yeah. And then I met the Irish fella. He had a fucking spare room in his house. Is that nothing going on?
Oh, no.
And he said, come live with me. And he said to me, listen, a fella from back home told me there's a load of bars for you. No problem getting a job, you know?
Yeah.
And he wasn't fucking wrong. So I had the Rockville Centre. Yeah, in Long Island.
Yeah.
I got a job in a wee place called Stingers. It was open for 29 years. Like a wee shithole hole in the wall Irish bar, but perfect for me, you know?
Yeah.
And I just learned the trade. I started as a barback, cooking wings, waxing dishes, fucking stocking the fridge, because I don't really drink myself.
Yeah.
Not a big drinker.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm a super lightweight. Like, this is probably going to be the only drink I have.
That's what I think.
And I can tell you because it's just like,
I don't do the drinking. I do the smoking more than the drinking.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
Yeah. I love the cannabis industry. I love the idea behind it, like the longevity that's in it and not in it. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's one of those things where, you know,
would you invest in cannabis? Like,
yeah. I think it's. Oh, I get this thing fold forward. What do you want this way? Back.
Do you want to back away from me?
There. So yeah, I feel like that would be the way to make investment in that.
I've always smoked weed like since I was a little kid. My mother and father are like alcoholics.
Really?
Yeah, like heavy fucking drinkers, you know. But that's in this country, you're an alcoholic. Back home, you're just normal. You know, that's the culture.
I've heard that.
That's the culture. Everybody drinks. You know, like drinking Monday to Sunday isn't a abnormal thing. You know, it's what everybody said.
Really?
So like. In this country, you'd be sent to rehab.
Yeah.
Over there, that is your rehab. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of the way it works.
Yeah.
So, but the weather back there sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't see a blue sky for 3 months.
Get out of here.
So that's why you gotta fucking drink. You know what I mean?
Oh.
The bar.
For 3 months?
Sometimes you look at the weather right now, you probably won't see a sunny day for 7 days. Overcast, constant. It's not that, like, it rains a lot, you know, sometimes, I joke saying it rains 51 weeks of the year.
Right.
But, it's not the rain that follows you, it's the overcast.
Yeah.
You can wear headphones if you want, I don't wear the headphones.
No, I might. And you know what, while we're gonna do this, right, I usually wear glasses, right?
Okay.
So
see, like the
missus wears. You know what I mean?
Like for everything.
And it's a crazy story. We'll probably talk about it more. But I don't remember a time where I haven't worn glasses, right? And today I was running out and doing a bunch of stuff. Like on the way up here, I sold an SI cluster to somebody who needed one. Like on the way, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't remember my regular glasses, and I just got these sunglasses.
Well,
right?
you're looking cool as fuck.
But these shits, right? There's a reason. There's a purpose behind these, right? So they're the new Ray-Ban Metas. So they record.
Oh, that's the one.
That's the lens.
I didn't even fucking see that. I was
right.
close with you.
So here's what I'm gonna do, right? So I'm gonna be able to go live right now.
No way.
And show everyone that we're at this podcast, and they're gonna see part of this from my perspective, right? That's what we're gonna do. And I was thinking to myself, oh shit, I forgot my camera. And I was like, you know what? This is gonna force me to use this.
Only a media man would show up.
Only a media man would show up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go live, right? And we're just gonna talk to the people.
I like to do that. You ever hear the Irish exit?
No.
So that's like when you're at a party and everybody's partying, and you know how people you trying to say goodbye to everybody. By the time you say goodbye, they keep you there for another few hours.
Yeah.
We just leave.
We just go. We just go.
You just leave. You don't say bye. When you're ready to go, you've had enough. You just leave. So this is the Irish entrance. We just started. So we're there.
That's dope. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch to these lenses. Okay. All right. I guess we're
fucking locked and loaded. Wow.
There we are.
Just want to say to you, thank you so much for coming out here. I can't believe you drove over nearly almost 3 hours.
It was worth
Oh,
it.
across states,
Yeah.
over fucking bridges. The
Yeah,
New York
yeah,
commute,
yeah.
everybody knows is a fucking nightmare. And here you are, all the way out just to see me. So
No, it
you're a
was.
gentleman, seriously, man. I
Yeah, it
can't
totally
thank you.
was it, my brother.
You're a
It was worth
fucking
it, you know
gentleman.
what I mean?
I've loved your energy from the minute I met you since I met you the day. It was unreal.
Yo, that situation
It was a special moment for me, I have to say.
so dope. And the reason I say that is because I recognized you from the rip. Like feel like I saw you in like a shark eye video at one point. And I was like, that guy
Shark
stands
is
out.
the man.
Yeah, he is the man.
He's a
the man.
fucking gentleman. He's
And
always
so-
showed me love.
Yeah. So for the people who are coming in here right now, tell us about where we're at and what we're doing.
Well, this is the Street Kings podcast. We're in my V2 car garage down here in Freeport, New York, Long Island.
Okay.
I wanted to start. Basically, I see a lot of podcasts coming up, and I just wanted to put my input on where I've been, what I've did, what cars coming up, and I want to learn as much as I can from people like yourself.
That's dope.
You
That's
know?
dope. I noticed the podcast a while ago, and I just liked how organic it was. You know what I mean? Like, how'd you even get started with it?
So I'm a massive fan of Joe Rogan. I've been watching Joe Rogan forever. I almost see Joe Rogan like gospel. Everything like I love how he interviews people. How if he says something wrong, he'll go back on himself. He'll correct himself. He doesn't stick to one narrative, you know. So I feel like it's very admirable, and that's why I'm a big fan of his. You know, and seeing what he was doing, I was like, maybe I could try to do that for the car world. You know, I love fucking cars. You know, and he gets to talk to all the most exciting people ever. You know, so it's like, why can't I do that with the car world? That's what I'm interested in. So that's what I'm trying to do.
So, who have you interviewed so far?
My first interview was Fat Boy. You know Fat
Okay,
Boy?
yeah, I know Fat Boy.
Jose's a good friend of mine.
Okay.
Fucking tuned my car before and all. He's did a lot of work for me. Anything I've ever needed, question ways, always helped me out. We race on the street. We always do little events and stuff out there in Mexico. And I love him, man. He supported me from day one, so he came. He was the first. And like even when he first came, he talked about plans that he had for the future, and those plans have now came to fruition. He has his own dyno, and it's pretty cool to see, like, you know, somebody saying, this is what I want to do, X, Y, and Z, and then actually going out and doing it.
And get it done.
And then I'm hoping to have a follow-up with him and maybe say, yo, well, tell the people how you did since the last time we spoke.
That's solid. That's solid. And that's a
that
solid
more.
Start, too.
Yeah. I've
like
had Kendrick from Honda Center.
Okay, yeah, Kendrick's dope.
Like yourself, he came all the way from fucking upstate Bumblefuck out of the middle of nowhere just to come and see me, and like, I'm so humbled, man. You know, I can't believe people would even take the time out to speak to me, never mind come all the way there. So.
You know, I think what's dope about it is that people need to understand it's work to keep this culture going. You know what I mean? Like when people put that energy into it and other people see it, it shows.
Yeah.
People want to be able to do more with it. People want to be able to support it, but sometimes the drive seems too far. For someone who puts together something like this, the 2-hour drive is minimal to get somebody else involved in racing. You know what I mean? Because us not doing that enough is what ends tracks, is what ends the sport in general. You know what I mean? You've got to be responsible for taking the opportunity to support the next man. It don't hurt me to support you. You get what I'm saying?
Don't
like,
cost no money for
it don't hurt me to support you. So why not do it? Like,
I'm hoping it's a snowball effect, so, you know. I'm hoping
absolutely.
If I do it, someone else sees it, goes, oh, geez, that's a good idea. Maybe
absolutely.
And I want everybody's perspective to be heard, not just mine, because there's no point censoring what people have to say. Let everybody have their say, whether it's bullshit or not. But we'll make up our own minds. But don't stop that person from saying what they want to say. You know what I mean? You know, and let people always want the short clip, fucking soundbite, fucking go to barrel stuff. You know, whereas I want long form conversations. I want to actually get to know somebody.
Yeah.
I feel like when you sit down to talk to somebody, it doesn't, not until after an hour speaking to them do they start relaxing and actually start being themselves. You know what I mean? So people want this short interaction, but it doesn't really work. I like the long form. You know?
Yeah, I've always been that way. I mean, in a generation where social media is short, immediate, quick.
Can't put your fucking phone
Yeah,
down. I'm a victim of it myself. You know, that thing in your pocket, it does so much. It's so hard to stay away from it. You know. And then they got ass and titties and all sorts of shit on it. It's hard.
Yeah, it's distracting.
You know.
The hard part is,
and it knows what you like, and it sends you more of what you like, and it fucking keeps you engaged, and then if that's not just one app, then you have multiple apps doing that. So it's tough these days.
It's not easy, and it's not easy to stand out in the midst of it because there's so much of it too.
And that is why I appreciate anybody who watches or follows me, because there's so much available there. And if they're fucking stumbling on my door, can't thank them enough.
Yo, that's the part of it that I love the most. It's the fact that as people stumble across good content, it becomes very contagious. You know what I mean? Like, I followed your podcast before I knew it was you behind it. Before I knew you at HJ, I was following the podcast. I just didn't put the two together, but it was great content. You know what I mean? So once I figured out who you were and how it tied to the podcast, like, I was kind of all in right from there because I felt like it'd be a good conversation. Like, even at the track, in the staging lanes, I knew your story was very special. Like, I stopped what we were doing to make sure to cover it. And I wanted to make sure it was in there because I wanted people to see that, you know, he can do it, you can do it type of situation.
And it's so low budget. We're sitting here in a tiny garage, you know, and you don't need much. I built this table out of an oil barrel, you know what I mean, with a couple of bits of wood, fucking some varnish, a few stickers, you know. This is the lowest budget microphone you can get. That's the lowest budget controller you can get. That's my fucking iPhone over there. You know, you can do
But
this.
it works, though.
But
it works, though.
It's not the setup. It's what you're, or it's not the product. It's how, I guess, what you're selling, the way you're selling. You know?
Yeah, that's true. You know, it reminds me of I don't know if you call it a meme or a quote or what have you, but there's a saying where it's like, you know, at the top people are collaborating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At the bottom they're fighting.
And at the bottom they're fighting. And it's important to remember that it's when people are at the top. And when I say at the top, it's not what somebody else sees, it's what you see. Right? You know what I mean? So when I see your podcast, I see the value in it right off the bat. Like, I love the background. I love the production. I love everything about the way that this looks. I've been on a lot of podcasts.
That was the seat out of that car.
I love it. This one right here?
Yeah, that was a GSR Integra seat. I took the
And
fucking
it's
seat.
comfortable as
I
hell,
took the
too.
office chair and I fucking took it apart and I fucking left the rails on so it slides back and forth. Just little shit, you know, just using your head, your feet for dancing.
Yo, this is,
you know,
fantastic. I mean, I love the way that you put together, and it feels very organic. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I think that's what's important about it. It's going to catch on. Sooner rather than later, it's going to catch on.
And I also hope, like I said, it's not just me catches on. I hope other people see how available it is. Like, back in the day, you had to get famous. You had to have a fucking sitcom. You had to do You had to do something to be on TV. Now, anybody, you just hit record on your phone and go there. You know, you may not be seen right away, but if you keep going and consistency, you know.
Yeah, it comes. I mean, the thing about it, and I think it's a good segue, right? We love racing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, you know, like I said before, I feel like people have to support racing in order for it to stick around. You need companies to step in and support racing in order for it to stick around. You know, but at least back in my day, a lot of times we were looking to get sponsored and sponsored men. You got paid to go racing. Maybe this would be your only job in drag racing, and then it was possible.
Yep.
Now it's not as possible because there aren't as many companies that are really involved in it, and not for nothing, for good reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like drag racing, especially import drag racing, is in between these two worlds in a sense, right? The world that says, this is my hobby, I spent all the money, I can do what I want.
Yeah,
right? I spent all the money.
Yep.
If I want to come to this event, I will. If I don't want to, I'm not going, and no one's going to tell me nothing different, right?
Yep.
Then you get a sponsor involved that says, you have to go to all these things. And you were excited, so you accept it, but then is it enough for them to say you have to go to Maryland, Florida, right? Upstate, Canada possibly, and then come back down? It's like, damn, for the tires I got, I'm doing all this? It would have been cheaper in my pocket just to buy the damn tires, right?
Yep.
You see what I mean? So there's this weird place only in import drag racing where the companies don't see the value and the drivers don't often see what value they bring. There's got to be some organization that comes to that. You know what I mean?
I don't see a lot of people, you know, in other sports fighting, and a lot of sports I see people using their personalities to sell tickets for. Whereas in drag racing, I don't see it often.
It comes down to drag racers at times forget that they're entertainers.
It's part of it. Like, it's not just about the race.
Yeah, you're an entertainer. You got to remember that. You don't have to win to entertain people. You don't have to win.
I think the biggest thing is people are scared to lose. You know, a lot of people don't like losing. Me, I'll fucking race anybody. I don't care. You know,
right.
I don't like. losing is all part of it. You know, I want to win every time, but losing is part of the game.
And sometimes it's not just if you lose or when you lose, it's how you lose.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Are you learning?
have to be, yeah, are you learning? What does that do to the type of character that you are?
Yeah.
Like, I always feel like being an entertainer is like somebody who gets a lot of money quickly. It reveals who you are. It doesn't establish who you are.
Yep.
It reveals who you are and who you can be. So when you tap into, understanding that you're entertaining somebody, like, I feel like I don't even have to tell you. Because this guy entertains
We're telling everybody
from wherever you're at.
So
Yo, I'm going through the stage lanes, and this guy entertained me by saying hello. I was like, what the fuck? Where'd that accent come? Yo, where you from? Right? So you're here. You entertain off the bat like that. So you get like the entertainment side of it. But there are a lot of guys.
That's just me being me most of the time.
Right, and that's all it's gotta be.
Yeah.
But that also means that it's something that's meant for you too. You get what I mean? Like it's meant for you. There are a lot of people. Well, of course, and you know what? I think even if people don't say it, trust me, they know that because it makes you different from everybody else that you're sitting next to. Right? There are other guys, and I love them to death. They're amazing drivers, amazing racers, and they win every other year because they put their nose to the work. But the regular person that comes to racing for the first time does not know their name.
Because they don't smile or talk to people or fucking sit there and have a conversation. Maybe that's not their fault either. Maybe they're just like an introverted person, or maybe they're shy. You know what I mean? But when you're in this business, I don't think you can be.
No,
It's like being a car salesman. You can't be shy when you're a car salesman. You're not going to sell no
Listen,
cars.
if you want to just race, do that, but don't expect to get paid. And that's okay. If you have no expectations for that, where you just want to show up and get in the lanes and race for some money, win, lose, or draw, and call it a day, do that. But don't look to be sponsored. Don't look to take sponsors away from people who want to do more with it. You kind of have to be responsible in the space that you're in. This whole joint is an ecosystem. We're all in it. We got to figure out better ways to make sure that we're not taking the things or the resources that we don't need, right? And that we're taking advantage of the resources that are there and making sure we execute on them, right? So that more grow.
Yep.
That's how it happens, right? Because every time something happens where, you know what I mean, there's a negative connotation behind a partnership of some kind, it's like I'm never doing that again because of the last guy, right? But at the same time, like, I spent a lot of time talking to a lot of companies and asking them about those situations, saying, so what happened? Oh, well, I gave them a budget and we spent the budget on them for whatever product or what have you. Mind you, no one got paid. So I ding the company right there, right? If LeBron doesn't play for fucking sneakers, why are these guys racing for parts?
You got to get checks, right?
Why are you racing? Yo, you can pay me and not give me the parts. And then when people ask me about it, I don't know, but I know the company and they supported me.
Just in layman's terms, what they're doing is they're giving you, they're not actually sponsoring you like as keeping you on board, paying you. They're just giving you what you need to build the motor, and you're doing the labor.
I mean, it depends. It depends on the company, and I think we're going to get to that because it really depends on the company and what they want and how they want it to look. And a lot of that stuff comes from us finding like a hole in the market. Like we did something called NYCE Motorsports Management, where we manage a lot of drivers, right? And the thing that we did was when we were managing drivers, we would talk to companies and be like, why didn't it work? And they were like, oh, we gave them X, Y, and Z, and we told them that, we wanted them to, support us. And I was like, okay, cool. So what does that mean? Like what?
Is that a sticker on
a
window? Is that,
what did you say? What did they agree to?
A logo on
right,
the fire
right. And you know what I heard? I heard what we expected them to know. So let me stop you for a second.
What the fuck kind of
business? Yeah. We expected them to know. So you get the company.
But you're giving somebody something expecting to return it without instructing them how to get.
But nobody spoke about that. So you're in the middle of it. Nobody spoke about that, right? You see how this gets crazy? So nobody. It's very normal. Very normal. But it's like, yo, I expected them to do what they do because I see they're following on social media. Yo, they're following on social media is because people are interested in what they do. That doesn't mean they're a great salesman for you, right? You have to curve exactly what you want and know what you want. Let me stop you before we got into this. Before you paid them the money,
set a target.
Who was the marketing manager? Oh, you didn't have a marketing manager. Who did you have? Bill from Parts. What'd you tell Bill from Parts to do? Give him the money. And then what did Bill from Parks
Sniffed
ask him to give back?
I don't know.
So whose fault is it? Right? Like, it was a bad experience
There's gotta be
because there was no structure, no organization, and then they'll never do it again, and then the racer complains about I never get sponsored
everybody's
again.
left with a bad
Right?
taste.
So we put together NYCE management to kind of organize those things, right? I don't never talk to anybody in the industry about racing first. We all know we're in the sport racing. You're talking to me because you know that this guy races. We're talking to you because we know that you have parts that maybe we need or something different, right? And there are different levels to different sponsorship that people should negotiate for themselves, right?
Yeah.
So typically, when you go after a sponsor, you should have met them at some point. Like,
Yeah.
while cold calling may work sometimes, it's only going to get you as far as possibly getting a discount. 10 times out of 10 times. And if you consider a discount a sponsorship, just wait till Black Friday so you don't open it. Right? Yo, I'm not saying nothing that people don't know. That's common sense.
No.
If you're giving me a discount, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till Black Friday because everybody's sponsored on Black Friday. Everybody is. 20, 15%. Yo, somebody got sponsored this past 4th of July. There's not July discount, 4th of July discount. Somebody got sponsored and they didn't have to give you shit back. They were just right place, right time, patient, plan. You know what I mean? Like, you really have to begin to think about that with these companies and not put yourself in a position where it ends up feeling like it was exciting at first, but it didn't end up being something really special that helped my program.
Yeah.
And then everybody involved isn't really comfortable.
And then also, then you're going saying bad things about that company and really didn't really do anything wrong. You just nobody met what was supposed to be met.
It's miscommunication 100% of the time. It's a lot of miscommunication. So what we started doing is being the conduit between racers and being the conduit between these companies. And then identifying with racers if this is really what they want to do. Because everybody wants to be sponsored. You ready? Here's what we're going to do. Would you like to be sponsored?
Obviously.
Okay. So what would you deem a successful sponsorship for you?
At the minute, for what I'm doing, my car kind of works. So I would like the travel. Do you know what I mean? Like stuff like that, like travel expenses maybe covered. You know what I mean? The rest I can kind of figure it on my own.
Okay. So travel expenses.
Like,
Travel expenses.
ticket to get in, tech card, you know what I mean? Travel.
Yep, everything. So you
know what I mean?
you get to get there, arrive, get a hotel, fuel, oil.
And I get the car.
You get the car. Yep, you get the car out.
Yeah.
Right?
Put a big sticker in the window or something. That's what my thoughts of what a sponsorship would be.
Right.
Because nobody really knows what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? It's kind of a secret.
It's true.
It's like a fucking taboo.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you.
Do you know what I mean? And because someone who gets fucking sponsored is gatekeeping. Like,
Yo,
fuck,
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you the clearest answer to that secret. You get sponsored for what you negotiate. That is it. You will get no more and no less.
I think that happens a lot in entertainment, like a music. It's like a music contract almost, there, right? Because a lot of these artists, they do all the singing and then they get a couple of parties paid for it, and then they got no money at the end of it. They're like, "Where the fuck's all the money?" And they're like, "Well, you didn't negotiate."
You know what's crazy about that? It's the fact that before I did NYCE1S, I did music management.
So you're a proper media.
So I'm a proper media. So you get what I'm saying? Like that's where a lot of my. That's where I pick up a lot of my experience. Yeah, I want to bring this down. So that's where I kind of like bring a lot of my experience. It's just I spent a lot of time in music, and I spent a lot of time seeing. Yeah, I spent a lot of time seeing crap deals for independent artists. You know what I mean? And I did.
Anybody fancy? Anybody you can name firstly, because I know you can't really say shit a lot of times. You know,
I mean a lot of times. Yeah. So
especially when it comes to fucking music.
We did it. Well. Let me backtrack some, right? So I used to do documentaries of music for like BET, Fuse, MTV, VH1. So I was doing that before I was doing a lot of recording. Yeah, I've always loved racing. I've been racing since I can remember. But that was where I cut my teeth, in a sense, when it came to media. So I learned a lot from like documentary style, underground shooting, things like that. And then I just got tired of doing that for a little bit. The budget started to slim down a little bit. And I told myself, yo, let me take a break. I'll just go back to what I love to do. I'll go back to clubs. And I ended up getting a deal from AEM to go to World Cup, and I never left. Just never went back to music.
World Cup, like import fee domestic.
Yeah. Like so AEM hired me off of Facebook because of something I was playing around with, and they sent me to World Cup. And when I got to World Cup, I met up with Jay, and then me and
Jay from NYCE1S
ZOE, and then him and I never stopped rocking together ever since.
Yo, that's fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. So a lot of what I'm saying is, you know, a lot
for people who don't know his name, Julian Bowen, right?
Julian Bowen in this. Yeah. Jay is.
I've never actually spoke to him in person. I feel like I know him because I've watched him so many times on the lives. He's also a big inspiration for this. I believe he was the first person to do. I don't know. From my belief, I don't know. Maybe there was someone else I didn't notice, but I think he was the first person I ever seen doing a racer interview, like on a podcast style. But he would do it live.
Yeah, I think
he started right just before me, like a few, you know what I mean, like maybe 6 months before me, because my boy Jojo, shout out Jojo.
You know who? I'll tell you who I remember. He
told me, yo, you should fucking see this guy. You should do something like that. And then
it was Julian. Yeah. That's crazy because I feel like Julian did one live, and then right after that, and I just feel like it was weird timing. But I think Frank from Downstar did live interviews that took off. Okay. Like he did some, yo, when I tell you,
like I see, there's a few fellas.
He did something on a Thursday, and there were like 20,000 people in the live, like something crazy. We were talking to Rachel. Yo, they be like that. Yeah, when he gets to the street, they be like that. They go, you know.
Sometimes he'd say, "Hold my phone," and you look, you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, there's a lot going on, right?
Yo,
you know whose lives get insane like that too? Ty Boogie.
Ty Boogie, he's the OG.
Ty is the OG. And you know,
I'm not even from this country, and like people talk about Ty worldwide. It's not just New York. Do you know what I mean? His shit's known everywhere.
He's the nicest boy,
and he's a gentleman.
Yeah,
fucking gentleman.
He really is. Like I'm gonna tell you something about that.
I see him like as always, like he can drive.
Like and like anybody else, like anything else, we're all in this. We love racing. We're all very competitive. Yep. All of us, right? Like even within NYCE1S, we are like a great competitive team. We go after each other every shoot we get. Like me, JR, Jay, like we go at it to make sure who's the best at that time. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I gotta be honest with you, I win a lot of the time, but Jay come through with some of these smooth ass shots. And I'm like, fuck you, man. Yo, and he's like, I'm gonna do it with this camera before you even on the track. Take that oh my god. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we all have very, very healthy competition, and of course, I feel like that spans across media too. You know what I mean? It's good for us.
As long as you're not putting each other down.
No, you're supporting each other. But like,
uplifting each other.
I'm gonna push you to be the best version of you. I'm never not gonna do that.
So she looks at me sometimes because I be telling her, like, I've got this running kick lately, and I'm fucking trying to stay healthy and all. And I be telling her, we got, and she's looking at me like, fuck you, like I don't want to just sit and watch my TV. But then they come back to you later and they go, you know what, you're right. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just, I'm trying to be happy voice in your head. Maybe I'm being a wee bit of a dick too, you know what I mean? But I'm doing it for a good reason. Correct. Doing it for a good reason. You know what I mean? And I feel the same way. It's like, healthy competition is good, and that's the one person I really give it to. Like, yo, Ty is, gentleman, fucking gentleman.
Bro, ain't nobody in New York messing with him.
Yo, his
there's nobody in New York. There's nobody in the tri-state area that's messing with Ty on his camera work or his editing work. And he knows I wouldn't bullshit either. He knows I wouldn't bullshit. It takes a team of us, to do what Ty can do in a night. You hear me? A team of us to do that. I couldn't do that by myself.
Is still on the fucking parkway, and he's fucking.
Yo, he's already cooking it. Y'all can't tell me nothing about Ty. Ty understands camera work. Ty understands ISO and white balance, and he understands the lens, the depth of lens, where he can use it. He is a technician with his equipment. There is not a lot of people in the street who are that, who can have those conversations. Ty can do that, know that, how to do every role, edit it perfect, market it perfect, by himself. So when I tell you Ty's the GOAT, and he's the GOAT. Yeah, Ty's the GOAT.
Shit with his profile, whatever he puts out, puts his heart and soul into it.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
And I bet he's not even started yet. That's the best part.
Yo, he does it with.
He's still got way more to go.
Yo, he's super. Like he does it.
One time he put up it was like a skit of like Happy Days or something. I had my eyes rolling on the fucking floor. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And he was like reacting on them old lady skits. It was fun. Now he should do more of that shit. That shit, like that's just comedy. Like, real funny stuff. Like I wasn't like even cars. I was just funny shit.
Yo, he's an interesting dude. Like when you get to know him, he's hilarious.
He's got a deep man, you know what I mean?
And such a genuine dude. Like there's nothing phony about him at all.
Yeah.
Nothing phony about him. Like he's phenomenal. Yeah.
And he's always showed me love too, and he barely knows me. Just from day one, and I'm doing the same shit he's doing. You know, and most people be like, "Oh, who's this fucking dick trying to do what I'm doing?" I don't see it like that. You know what I mean?
Nah, he never does. And you know what?
He shares everybody's posts. He knows that shit ain't holding him back. You know?
Yeah, he knows it doesn't hurt to share somebody else's post because
it's good for everybody.
He's unique. You can't copy what he does. Nobody can. It's his own fingerprint on.
Give you the recipe, but you ain't stealing the sauce.
Nah, you can't. I can give you his entire artwork setup, and you still couldn't render it the way he does.
Or as fast or as efficient.
Yeah. It doesn't. Ty's unique. Ty will never be forgotten when it comes to any type of front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, freeways in the Tri-State area. They'll never forget that. Yeah.
Some of the biggest views on YouTube as well, right?
Yeah. He made a lot of people famous in a sense. Like you gotta think about
the light on people who wouldn't have had the light shone on them otherwise.
There was a time where both Ty and Julian were shooting the High Boost camp. You know who High Boost is?
Hell yeah.
Okay, think about this for a second, right? You know who High Boost is to the point that you just said hell yeah, right? When they were shooting them, these guys would travel and go to different places and be recognized when they got off the plane, and they didn't realize YouTube can go that far because YouTube was new. Like you have to remember, NYCE1 has been on YouTube since the first day it opened. Like Jay made a profile. Before that was happening, you know what Jay was doing?
How old is NYCE1?
21 years, I believe. 21 years old.
Fuck.
It was way before YouTube. It was.
So he was videoing on a fucking flip phone back in the day.
Yo, bro.
He's even on maybe camcorder on the shoulder.
He's still. Is that what That's what I'm talking about. I'm like that vintage ass camera that you got over there, and he'll still outshoot some of us with that fucking camera, bro. Like, and he has that camera still. I'm sure he had another one a little bit before, but the main camera. I remember talking to this one dude who recorded with him all the time. I'm not gonna say the name, but he said, "Yo, Julian Bowen's camera has made him over $1 million in 20 years. Like over time, it's made him over $1 million." Red Bull sponsored NYCE1s when they were first coming out. Did anyone know? Insane. I'll tell you the story. Right?
Red Bull sponsored NYCE1s.
Red Bull sponsored NYCE1s.
Yo, Red Bull back in the day were getting on everybody, right? In the early days, I remember they used to drive around and give free cash to everybody with the trucks, the Red Bull trucks, and the girls.
They came to Queens in a cold truck and just dropped off cans of Red Bull. Julian couldn't even move it. He couldn't even move it. So he would set up events around his house where people could just get to it, give it away, and then the next thing you know, he was like bringing it to events here, bringing it to events there, but it'd still be out on the street. It never came in the house. He left it in a spot where he would set up events to give it away. He would bring what he could with him, but he'd still leave it away. Yep. Couldn't give it away. He had so much fucking
That's market, right?
But at the end of the day, they looked at it because of everything that he was doing on the street at the time. Like, you have to remember, around that time, that's how Fast and Furious started. Like, people never give that enough credit. Yo, Jay was in the mix of that originating. Javier was in the mix of that originating.
They say it was based on New York stuff, right?
It was based on
Jersey.
Ralphie Estevez from BRT. Like, when you watch the documentaries, they go into the whole Racer X thing, right? And
he went on Brian East Race, didn't he?
Yep, he did.
Yeah.
And they did an official documentary on Fast and Furious where they interviewed him as well.
I seen you on there too.
Where?
Did you not go on East Race?
Oh yeah, I went to East Race.
Yeah.
Brian's my guy. I mean, he
I've never met him in person, but I talked to him one time. I told him I get up. He started his podcast. Before he started his podcast, he was doing tattoos. He was like, if you get an Eat Sleep Race tattoo, I said, I get the fucking tattoo if you come on my podcast.
Yeah.
But no, he never came on. So Brian, if you're listening, come on.
Brian,
that fucking tattoo.
He'll put a tattoo.
Eat Sleep Race tattoo. Come on, I haven't had a tattoo in years.
You know what's crazy? Did you know Brian from Eat Sleep Race created the NYCE1S logo?
Wow, that's fucking
He
pretty
created
cool.
the NYCE1S
Yo,
logo.
does he do the art for t-shirts and stuff for
I think he does more creative directing now, but physically, yeah, he's capable.
back in the day?
Well, the whole reason you look at it, the whole reason you look at Eat Sleep Race the way that you look at it is from his original design.
Bro, everything I wear, I have fucking loads of shit. I've sent stuff back to Ireland, all the baby stuff for kids and all.
Yep.
You know, like,
Yep.
it's smart as fuck, man. It's a really nice brand.
Yeah.
All the stuff feels really good.
Yo, he's incredible. Like, I know I'm wearing some Eat Sleep Race right now, but he's a phenomenal entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He's a great friend, and he loves racing. He really loves racing. Like, he doesn't worry about any of the little petty shit in between or whatever.
Yeah. No, he's a bit.
He keeps it focused on racing. He loves it, and I think that that's why his brand.
I feel like he's a really good businessman as well. More than like obviously he loves cars and all too, but he's obviously a phenomenal businessman.
Yeah, he's incredible. When it comes to being an entrepreneur.
Good shit. I love how he's always had all whoever's really hot. Like he'll do the stuff for Cedric, he'll do the stuff for CLM. You know, so whoever's really hot, he's doing their hoodies. He's smart, man.
I mean, that's true, but not only that, like, I mean, I think he would do it for anybody who had a race program. I think if you approached him and started to figure it out, I think he's open to that because he's one of the people that I will talk to about the fact that you don't have to win to be successful in racing. Like, he gets that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to think about it, right? Queen Bee Series.
Yo, Aaron's a legend.
Aaron is probably one of my favorite
I was just with her
racers in automotive.
I was with her at Cedric's party. I missed you then.
What? I was there. Yeah,
I missed you. I just left. Yeah, I was sitting
yeah, I think she's phenomenal. And she doesn't have to win every event. She's just kick-ass in general. And she comes out there and she's like kind of like the spirit of all motor because she's all heart. You know what I mean? Like, she shows the fuck up and she can drive.
She sees hearts everywhere she goes.
Yo,
she always
everywhere she goes.
So there's water stain on the ground, heart, this phone, everything's heart shaped. Everything's so fun.
Her and her overalls.
Yeah,
but, like,
amazing energy. Good people. Man.
The thing about her that I think, and the reason why Brian from Eat Sleep Race sponsored that car was because
nice.
It looks amazing, but it's because of the drive. It's because of her positivity. It's because of how long she's been dedicated to it. It's because she's been the only girl in the class who's been kicking ass for years. You can't come into the all motor pits and interrupt Queen Bee Series on anything. You might not make it out. Everybody's
she's backed up.
Yeah.
Heavy protection.
Yeah. And God forbid she gets you before everybody else does. God forbid. She's a little rough now. I'm telling you.
You better watch this out. She's fucking
rough now. I'm telling you.
Oh, she's a legend. Erin's a really nice person.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Her, it's funny that she's Queen Bee with the K as well.
Yeah.
You know, but
we don't even talk about
that. You think she'll ever go back B? I didn't ask her.
No.
Because it doesn't work for her class.
I mean,
no, they're not fast enough anymore. They're like dinosaurs for that class, right?
This is tough.
Nah, he said this is tough. He long paused.
Yeah, you know what? We're talking about that forever K series, B series conversation.
Well, I know you're a B series man. No,
I like B series. I'm a big B series guy. No. I also face facts that a K series
works in other
different scenarios with its displacement that a B series cannot.
Did you see what you just said? I will listen to your opinion a million times over the cunts who says B series or K series because you have to pick what's good for each whatever platform or whatever it is that you're running, you know. But a lot of people like pick teams and they try and stick to a narrative. Oh, I'm B series till I die, and they won't sway. And it's like,
I'm with whatever. Like, I went B series, K series. I love 2Js.
Correct.
Like,
cars.
there's no. I love LSs. Like, it's okay to love more than one brand or engine or what have you. Like,
the world teaches you to fucking play for one team and stick with that team, and that's just bullshit.
No,
I mean, you can change
crazy.
your opinion. You can evolve. You can see things in different ways. It's okay, you know.
I've been working on B series since before I can remember. Legitimately, like, if I were to ever get stuck on the highway with a B series and like a toolbox, I'm getting home. Like, I'm getting home. It's not gonna be a problem. You know what I mean?
Time and chain versus time and bout is fucking really different when you're in the pits.
You know it.
You know, because if you're waiting on fucking Although or not although fucking silicone to dry,
Yeah.
you know, and you have to get back out again. You don't have time, or you just slip the belt off.
Why do you think that Cedric went back to Visa?
I think it was that reason. Yeah, I think that's also where I learned that from him. You know,
Why do you think that B series is still the fastest when it comes to split front wheel drive?
I don't know the exact science behind it, but I know that they're better for boost, like high horsepower boost.
I just feel like B series has so much more support, so much more history. People have looked into it further. K series still has a lot on the table. People may not believe that.
What do you think about the pellet block stuff?
Um, I
Aaron,
think
Aaron was telling. Sorry to interrupt you about the answer, but Aaron was telling me that if you win, that's why I asked you. If they window the block, apparently you can fix it. You heard that?
I've heard it, but I mean, in all motor, you shouldn't be windowing a block that's billet anyway. Like that defeats the entire purpose. You should be that shit should detonate, and you should be able to clean it up and throw another set of. But that's the point of having a billet block. Shouldn't win. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like
With the high horsepower guys, it's 4 front-wheel drive.
right, they're gonna put something through the
I
roof.
think Miss PSI window one.
Yeah.
Right.
But then it's like that's part of the magic too. Like it's pushing it to the limit and still having it stay together. Because if it was about just pushing it to the limit, everybody would just need a budget and they'd just break it on a regular basis. That's why some of the rules are established too. It's like, hey, around this time, we're not blowing up every. Like, imagine if you lightened up all the rules as front wheel drive or all wheel drive. Let me tell you exactly what would happen at the track. Everybody would blow up. Nobody thinks about that.
No.
Everybody would blow up. You would have oil downs consistently going down the track. You remember when they just started doing outlaw?
Braking when you're racing and everybody's braking and you're sitting there and you're fucking fire. And I don't even wear a fire suit. I only wear the jacket, but you're sitting there sweating your balls off, sweat like a fat chicken at disco.
Yeah, that right. And the whole time it's because everyone's pushing the limits to these things, and we know over time what works and
30-year-old
what doesn't.
transmissions with fucking 700 horsepower. Like, bro, you didn't even upgrade you didn't upgrade anything. No gears, no shit. Nothing.
Stop. Yeah, blow it up. Nitro, remember the original Nitro days when they were first figuring out mix? The entire class blew.
I asked this question to people a lot because I also don't know the science behind it. I like to learn, but I heard that people they put nitro in the oil and they run the car like a two-stroke. You heard that before?
I've heard a lot of people talk about it.
Exercise in the gray area.
I've never seen anybody do it. Like I've never.
Allegedly.
I've seen a million people accused of it. Everybody was accused of it towards the end of last year, beginning of this year. Everybody was, oh, you must have nitro with it. No, it's the fact that with the K series in particular, there's so much more left on the table. People discover something new every year. People are finding horsepower in these M1 cars every year. Yo,
Jamie
I'm telling
fucking
you.
Marsh.
Yo, listen to me close.
Man is a fucking
Listen to me
superstar.
listen to me close. Jamie Marsh is finding horsepower in places with Skunk T Dave that I had never even
But that guy's
imagined.
hilarious too.
I have never even imagined where you can get horsepower off of just simple changes. Like the thing about Jamie, if you've ever been around him, is Jamie doesn't like Jamie understands the graphs, but Jamie's a mathematician. Did you know that? Like he's a mathematician.
You can just tell he's fucking super intelligent because he doesn't really engage in small talk.
No, he's a mathematician.
Like,
He's
he'll
doing
only
the
talk
math
to you.
on the dyno.
He only talks to you if you're talking with substance. You know what I mean? If you're just talking, but he just look at you like.
Yeah, he does. He does do that. He does that at any given point in time on any subject.
He's a gentleman, though. Very nice
Yeah, he's
fellow.
still.
Very nice
But it's like he speaks in mathematical terms when he teaches. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he has a degree in like some severe type of chemistry. That's the best way I could put it. Like some
Did
extreme
he go to school?
chemistry
Like, is he?
for chemistry. Something
Oh,
along those lines. Not for tuning. He picked up tuning along the way. He took classes along the way. I think we did a project out of him where he talked about all that stuff.
So he's a literal scientist.
Yeah, he's a scientist. People forget that.
The mad scientist.
I'll never forget when
Like
I first heard it. Somebody was talking about him in Connecticut over a decade ago. And I was like, how good can it be? It's not like he's like a rocket scientist. It's like, nah.
No, he is. He's
no.
actually.
I said, no, like,
Standing
real,
in a lab.
like his 9 to 5 is like something like that. He goes, yeah, it is. It's definitely something like that.
This guy.
And then when I tuned with him the first time, like I saw him doing the math, and I noticed the questions that he asked, like, you know, is the head ported? you know, do you have the math on that? Do you have the paperwork on the injector? He's like, he's trying.
Different shit.
Yeah, he's trying to do the math to understand what can physically go through the motor, not what I have an idea about. What does the math tell me? And then does that translate onto the sheet? And then if it translates onto the sheet, does that translate into real world? And if all those things don't match, then he's going to change it based off the math he did, the graph, and then real world. He doesn't just look at it one way.
He wants to win too.
Oh my God.
He doesn't want to just be second, right?
He's one of the most competitive people I've ever met in everything. You could walk down the block with him. You can walk down the block with him and just speed up a little bit and watch what he does. Calm as shit. But
He's like the man's trying to raise me the
foot raise on foot, anything. He's doing it. He's doing it.
Yo, and I watched a video of him. It must have been fucking 2016 or something. He was in an interview and he had 3 civics behind him, and he was talking about. Is he from Jamaica?
Yeah, he's Jamaican.
And he was talking about back in Jamaica they love Nissans. They're all big into the Nissan. He's like, nah, he's trying to explain to the boys back home Honda's where it's at, you know. You know what's to see how far he's came now, it's like,
you know what's,
them cunts should have listened to him.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Is that before he touched the Honda, he had like the record
SR20, right?
With the SR20.
Central.
Like if you go and Google like Jamie Marsh SR20,
Jamaica's love.
You will find like forum upon forum, page upon page about what he was doing in like 2003, 2004. Like he was doing crazy shit making records.
Jamaica, they love doing circles too. It's like us in Ireland, they do the different in the middle of the street. They be wrecking the cars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like they do donuts in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, like over here they do the takeover shit. That shit's fucking garbage.
Yeah, because people run into there and they get smashed
around.
That's crazy.
But the way in other countries they do it, like in my country they call it
a drift pit.
Yeah, they got a little pit. And everybody goes in and it's all fucking coordinated and everybody can drive. Like if you can't drive, they'll tell you to get the fuck out. Right. Whereas all these other retards, they can't even, they're running up fucking pavements and running people over. It's crazy. The takeover shit is bonkers, man. I don't know. It's not even cars. It's killing us. I feel like it's killing the whole car game because they're just riding.
It's true.
It's like,
I mean, the thing that I try to understand about it is honestly nothing. It's just like there's certain shit that you can just kind of allow or understand, and then there's this.
You ever did donuts in car?
No, I mean I think I've done. Well, no. Let me be real. I think I went on a ride along with someone who drifted.
All right.
So we did donuts at that point in time, right? I got an IS300 that I love to death. Like it's
Lexus.
It's my.
You still have a car?
I have so many.
Yo, I seen your life.
I have so.
I'm not gonna lie. I stalked your life. We bet you mean and looked through it, and I seen the Lexus long over. I wanted to ask you about the Lexus.
Yeah, I am.
So it's an IS300.
Yeah, I'm a gearhead, like for real. It's bad.
Petrol head, we call it.
Petrol head. Yeah, I'm that.
So back home, they started IS200.
Right.
You don't get the 300s.
No, I love the 300s.
Right hand drive.
Yo, let me tell you. Want me to tell you a story on how I got that car?
Oh, because it's definitely
hilarious. It's hilarious. Wait, let me take a sip.
Wet the whistle.
It's traumatic.
You want another one?
No.
Don't be shy.
No, I'm good.
Turfy.
So, like I said, I've been in the Hondas all my life. Like since before I could drive stick, I was already working at a garage with older friends of mine, cleaning up, doing oil changes, everything on Hondas. So by the time I got to mine, like I got a DC. What is it? Like no, a DB1. Is that 91 Integra?
The one with the long headlights?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a DA?
A DA, second gen. Yeah. So I don't even know how many second gens I killed. I probably killed like 7 second gens by myself.
The single cam?
Oh, no, they all had like LS motors.
Yeah.
All LS.
Back home, you get some of them with a single cam. Right now,
you got the second gens with a single cam?
I think so. Because we get smaller motors, and we have a 1.5 VTEC EK as well.
Yeah, that I've seen a 1.5 just on a
1.4 as well.
That's great.
Non VTEC 1400.
1400 what?
1.4.
That's crazy.
CC. 1400 CC. Non VTEC EK.
That's wild.
Yeah, a lot of different stuff. You ever heard of a Jordan Civic? So that's where you are.
Oh.
So they make an EK and it comes Jordan. So it's a Jordan VTI. So it says Jordan where it says .VTEC, and then the seats came leather with a little bumblebee stitched into the headrest. I'll show you.
Why a bumblebee?
Let me see my phone bill. I'll show you.
Why a bumblebee?
It's just part of the Jordan. It only comes in the UK swag.
That's crazy.
You never seen that before? Do you know your man Honda Pro Jason?
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yo, he's
That's my guy.
And he's super intelligent with the Hondas.
Yeah.
But he what do you call it? He's in Scotland at the minute. You see, he's over in Scotland,
Yep.
and I think he's seen a Jordan.
Why do they call it Jordan?
See, to be honest, no, I have no fucking clue.
Like, I'm trying to understand it. It's like,
It's called a Jordan Civic. They only come yellow. They only came with those 5-bar wheels. That's the way they are. They come with the VTI 2000 front, and then they had the. Let me see the interior. Like they came with the. We call it the iron board spoiler.
Yep, I've seen the iron board,
Yeah.
but I never knew that they had something called a Jordan.
Yeah, let's see the interior. Interior came like this. Half leather, yellow, with the fucking bumblebee. Random, right?
Yo, every time I think I know,
You
I
don't.
learn something.
And then in
completely new.
Malaysia, they have fucking different models. Canada have different models. All over the world, everybody gets different shit.
I was literally living second generation Integros when I first got my license, right? So I understood how to pull the motor, how to do the wiring harness. Like, if I needed to cut the firewall, I did it on one before. I did a supercharged one, a turbo one, and all
Supercharged, huh?
Yep. I had to cut the firewall for that in order to make that work. It was a nightmare, but I was just committed to it, and I got the supercharger.
Get it done. Fuck.
So I got it, right?
You got the supercharger for free?
Yep, I got supercharger for free. So I put that together. 150 shot of nitrous on an LSV Tech.
With the supercharger?
Oh, no. Before there were
I was
LSV
like,
Tech
what?
kits, we were making LSV Tech.
Mm.
So when we figured out how to do it, I sprayed 150 shot through the first. I blew it up in like 3 weeks.
That was my next
And
question.
then I did a turbo one, then I did a supercharged one, then I got into a Del Sol. And I built a Del Sol that was LSV Tech.
You're a big man for a Del Sol.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, well, I was smaller than two. I was a lot smaller. But the Del Sol was like, I don't know, it was like a ghost in the machine. You know what I mean? Like, I was young at the time, and I put a lot of power and didn't think about the brakes and too much of the suspension. So I was like, let me get out of this car before something happens to me, right? And I get this guy who lifts me up on Craigslist, and he's like, yo, I'll trade you like a Mercedes for it, like a hatchback supercharged Mercedes. Now, I hated the thing, but I knew it was worth more than my Del Sol could have been, right?
Yeah.
So,
because now Del Sol
yeah,
are fucking fortune.
right. So he comes down. I'm like, so you really want to like do a straight trade for the car? I'm like, yes. I'm like, all right. I made like a waiver, had him like sign the waiver. I was like, you understand that this can't be like really driven in wintertime. Like, you should definitely do your suspension and brake, all this stuff just to make sure I was good. And then he leaves, and I'm stuck with this freaking Mercedes. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this freaking Mercedes? I hate this thing. I drove it for like 2 days, and then I started looking, and I found an IS300 in New Jersey, 5-speed original black, baby. I drove right to the dealership that weekend and said, yo, I'd love to trade this in and get this IS300, right? And there were a few things that I knew.
Out of a dealer too?
Right. A few things I knew right off the bat. The dealership that I was at was shady as shit. I knew it. Like, I pulled up and I was like, this shit is a racket. All right, cool. Bet. I'm good. I'm good. So I walk in and they're going to be like, why are you trading this in for that? The Mercedes was newer. It had less miles. It was in good shape, whatever the case may be, right? So I walk in, I take a look at the car. I'm like, yeah, I want to trade this in for that. And I knew mine was worth more. So, and I looked at the online price and I get there. He's like, yeah, so it's going to be 12 grand. I was like, all right. When I looked online, it was like 9 grand. He was like, no, it's going to be 12 grand. I was like, it's going to be 12 grand because I'm trading in this Mercedes and this Mercedes is worth more. He goes, yeah, I really think your Mercedes is worth like 10. And at the time, it was worth like 16. So he's trying, like, he's really trying to manipulate the shit. And I'm like, you know what? How about this? I'll buy your little BS warranty. I'll give you $1,000 and we call it a day. And he's like, done. And I signed all the paperwork, right? And I even financed the last $1,000 just to build my credit. I paid it off like a month later. And while I'm leaving, he's like, you knew that deal was an upside down deal. Why'd you take it? I was like, because I already traded up and made $5,000 before I even got here. So what's giving you $1,000 don't matter. And I drove off with the car. Next thing you know, it's NAT with an R154 training and an AEM version 2 in it, and I'm enjoying the car. It became my favorite car. It was actually.
And you never got into doing donuts or drifting or
No, I drove it straight.
I drove it straight.
I drove it straight.
Yo,
I drove it straight all the time.
as soon as I get into every drive car, I'm looking at the driver window going straight. Fuck,
Yeah,
I say, bang, just kick the clutch straight.
You know what?
Even my Suburban.
I'm
As soon as a wee bit of snow comes down the Suburban, I turn the traction control off.
Nah, you're not wrong about that. I've looped my MR2 a couple times. I've looped my
Yo,
MR2.
I'm glad you brought that up. MR2, man. So you've had that for a long time also, right?
I have.
And
I
you
have.
K-swapped it like way back
Well,
in the day.
no.
No?
It's an NA right now, and I just bought everything to K-swap. So I literally
Okay.
have K24, A2, wired harness, K
You've
Pro.
been planning the K for a while?
Wow.
Okay.
I've had everything for years, right? But it's like I'm meticulous in builds. Like I feel like I need to give it specific focus.
Yep.
But at the same time, like I'm in between editing, I'm in between shooting, I'm in between traveling, I'm in between a lot of those things.
So, well, doing all that, do you do much wrenching? Do you prefer to outsource the wrenching?
I like wrenching. Particularly, that's why I got the B Series Civic and didn't do a K, because I just feel way more comfortable in my own garage working on myself, right?
You have a lift, right?
No,
No?
I have a
seen your
shop
car.
that has a lift.
Oh, nice.
So away from my house where I can do that.
Perfect.
Do I do a ton of it? When I need
Working
to.
like a gentleman.
Yeah, no, maybe I'm not on my back. No.
Like me putting that AC in, it's like, oh my god, fuck. Like my permit, Matthew Freeze just did a podcast with me last week, and the two of us were here sweating. And he says, I like the heat. I think he was just being fucking nice to me. But either way, thanks, man, for fucking not leaving. It was hot as balls. The two of us are sweating off our head.
I mean, this is comfortable.
It's nice now,
It's
right?
very nice.
But little things like that make a big difference, you know?
Huge.
Like lying on your back working in the car is rough.
Yo, my man.
I do it. I talk motors, me and her. I've talked the motor right here, me and her together.
I feel like I'm going to end up doing that in the MR2 at some point because
I ever need a hand, man, you know where I am.
I appreciate
You
you,
got my
man.
number.
I feel like it's going to be one of those things that if I could just do an NA and then maybe just give it away, I'd love for somebody to enjoy it. I'd love for
Do it like
somebody
a
to-
raffle for it?
Yeah, I don't really need it. Like, it's just, I love the visual part of it. I love to make them look great.
It's nice.
But I'm just trying to get them, like, in and out. Like, my Civic is a keeper for me.
Have you ever driven an MR2?
I drove that.
With the Toyota, with the
Yes.
regular motor.
Yeah, the GT.
Air filter right behind your head.
Those cars have a soul to them. Like, you feel every bump about them. And you know that saying about the Black Widow, right?
No.
With MR2?
No. Oh, killing people?
Where's your phone? Look it up.
Black Widow MR2?
What is it called? Oversteer?
Oh, lift off oversteer. Yeah.
Look it up.
Yeah. Once you let go, it kicks it back in. But there's a few cars that are like that. The Widowmaker, they call it.
Widowmaker is like that.
So MR2
when
is
I
like,
say
they pass that as that.
when I say that they have a soul to them, they have a soul to them.
MR2 Turbo.
Yeah.
That was even worse. They
Yeah.
were fucking.
Yeah.
I think they were from the factory. They were crazy horsepower, right?
I mean, what most people don't realize is that if you put
Not a big car.
if you put a factory MR2 up against a factory Toyota Supra, who's winning?
In the straight line.
Sure.
The MR2's later. Half the car.
The MR2's winning.
And then the Benz as well.
You're right. That's a good point. You're right. A lot of people forget that part about the
Supra is a big car. People don't realize well, especially when you come home from cars like this. These are tiny compared to the Supra. Like a BG bubble is miniature compared to the Supra.
Yo, I don't know what the MR2 weighs, but I have a slick top MR2, and when I tell you it is in mint condition, like it's just
Red
sun
also,
fade.
right?
Yeah, sun fade on it. But
Yo, we polish that shit. Let me know, bro. I come over and polish your fucker.
yo, I'm about to because the interior of the car feels like it's still in 1991.
Oh, I love that.
Like
So it
I swear
smells
to
like
you,
it all
yo, it
again.
smells like
Oh, it's
it.
beautiful in here.
Oh my god, it's so crazy. Tape deck works, everything works.
Original
Everything
tape deck.
works. I'm like, yo, this is insane.
They're so perfectly balanced. I don't know how it would be with the K series. I'm sure it'd probably be the same, but because of the rear, the engine in the middle, you know what I mean? It's like a Ferrari.
The K series is a little lighter.
Lighter.
Yeah, the K series. You have to
What
remember.
box you putting on? What gearbox transmission?
I'm gonna do all motors or type S.
And what diff then? What way does that work? It goes to.
I probably just do a limited slip. I'm not gonna change any gears on it, I'm gonna allow whoever gets the car to do all that. Like I'm really gonna do like an OEM plus setup. Like I'd love to tune it. I'd love to make sure that it got around like 280, 290.
So you had to change the mounts to fit the gearbox and the motor. Yeah?
Yes. Yep.
I've heard people putting there's a transfer plate you can run, and you can put the Chevy 5-speed transmission on the back of the K series.
I haven't heard about that.
Google that one.
They have a kit where you can put
I could be wrong, but I read about it and they said, you know.
I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah.
But I know
I'm definitely not an expert. You know,
they have a kit for a J series in an MR2, which
it's a big motor.
It's a big motor. I think it's gonna offset the balance. Yeah, I
feel
like it's gonna offset the balance of the
Michael Amati, who just won 1150, you seen him?
Yeah, it's quick.
Yo, but quick. He was getting 00 reaction times. He was hitting 1150 on the nose. He beat a sport front wheel drive car. He went all the way to the finals and won, and it was his first time out. First time ever raced. If you want to watch somebody, ask somebody to fucking win.
Are you serious?
First time
it was
ever
his
raced.
first time racing.
Yeah, bro. First time in the
car.
track.
What lights?
It was 00s. Bro, driver. Like, driver.
See what I mean?
So when I was racing with him, I was number 2 qualifier, you know, and then fucking I had red lit myself. So once I got red lit, I'm like, and then I said, man, are you still in? He's like, yeah. So I was like, right, I'm on your team then. We're going all the way to the final. And he fucking went.
Let me tell you something. I would much rather red light than sleep at the tree. That's always been my mentality.
I didn't know the rules, so I didn't realize.
I would much rather red light.
Second time limit.
I get it. I'm telling you right now.
But now I know I'll
never be disappointed about a red light. It means you're trying. I say that to drivers all the time. Like, never.
You know
if you slept at the tree, we mad at you.
Cedric fucking told me, he's like, you gotta get 00s in your time. So I was really trying to get 00s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
as you should, all the time. Yeah. All the time. People often have that debate back and forth. They're often like, I don't want a red light. I feel like that's the worst. Nah.
I want to try as hard
Sleeping
as
at the tree is the worst. Yeah. That's the last thing.
I want to try as hard as I can every time, so I get a wee bit better every time, you know. And even if that means going backwards a bit, it's all right.
Everyone does. Everyone does. A lot of the work is in the chassis. Like chassis work makes fast cars. Yeah. Everyone thinks it's power, trying to figure out power or share ratio.
Where I'm at the minute as well, it's got fuck all to do with speed. It's the consistency. You know what I mean? Because I'm letting off. I get the 119 and let off and roll coast across the line. You know, that's how I do it.
Yeah, the consistency.
I do 1150 on the nose, you know. But it's doing it time and time again and hoping your car is going to hold on time and time again. That's.
I mean, if you're letting off, you're giving it room to breathe. I mean, what's your setup?
It's just basically it's a CSS block, pistons, rods, valves, springs, containers, all that there. The gearbox, KRX Mike built the gearbox for me. Has Albans, think carbon gears, carbon synchros. No, it's a street setup. It's making 450, tuned by CLM, 14 pounds of boost, but it's on stock axles, stock brakes, you know what I mean, all that. So everything around it's stock, you know. And I gotta get like a mid plate or fucking torque match or something because when you hook with the slits, the motor rocking and it's breaking off the frame. It's breaking the mounts off the frame.
Really?
Apparently that's an EK curse. Yeah, it happens to EKs all the time. Yeah. So I've had it welded, but it's doing it again. So I wanna. It's just stuff like that, you know. It's like little stuff, but when you're, I work 3 jobs and then do painting on the side. You know what I mean? So it's like you're doing anything to stay alive. Our bills, we pay like nearly $3,500 a month for rent and bills.
Oh, how it's so crazy.
It's
so crazy. The economy's nuts.
It's fucking bonkers. In New York, especially Long Island's wild, you know.
Yeah,
so
it is.
then the events just keep getting more and more expensive, you know. Like they went from 250 to 400. My heart was set on going to Pan Am's, but I don't think I can make it. It's just too much, you know, because it's going to cost me probably got to $2,000 to go. And then if people don't realize with a $5,000 payout, that goes first, second, third, and fourth. So you're only getting $2,000. Yeah. So you're not even going to win. And maybe probably only 10% of the people even have a chance of winning. And you could be the best driver in the world, but your car might let you down, or the rain might come, or you know what I mean. There's so many variables.
Let me tell you, I'm
but
gonna
you don't
give
get
you,
the money
I'm
back.
gonna, yo, so here's what I'm gonna do, right? And I pray that somebody comments, either agrees or disagrees on something like this.
No.
But do you know the
Gotta
reason?
stay away from comments though. Now, Joe Rogan says it best. He says you can't read good comments because they inflate your ego.
Yeah.
And you can't read bad comments because most of them are full shit.
Oh, you know what? That justifies everything that I'm saying.
But you have to let them comment.
I never give a damn about none of that stuff. Yeah. That's one of the best things that I've ever picked up on NYCE1S. It's that I just do the art and leave. I never do. I don't worry about anything outside of that.
It's hard not to engage with people. I don't keyboard dance.
For what? For what? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah. And
right?
9 times out of 10, the country you're engaging with is fucking so unhappy with himself. It's got nothing to do with you. I say this all the time. There's a big difference, and this is for anybody who's in media. Your job in media, 9 times out of 10, is to be an observer. You are not supposed to be involved. You are not supposed to be the middleman. You are not supposed to be speaking on behalf of anyone. And the reason I say that is because you're not the one that's risking the investment. Probably a good way to look at it.
Right? That's it. Right?
Kind of like a journalist almost.
Right. You are just observing from the outside looking in. The minute you begin to feel like you dictate, control, speak to, advocate for, you've crossed that line. And you've numbered your days. And I'll tell you why. Because at some point when you're wrong, you'll be blamed for things you can't control. Never forget that part. You know the reason that I built NYCE1S a car? Because at any point in time that I feel like I need to speak, I can go get in it and speak. Because I built it. And if I break it, I'll fix it. But I can speak. And Julian doesn't want me to go on the stage lanes at any point in time.
Does Jay race?
Yeah. Jay can drive his ass off. Jay can drive his ass off. Jay was racing with high boost back in the day. That's how we got into it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So.
And then Javier obviously used to drive back in the day.
We all.
I got a question for you. Is NYCE1S H-Day, is that a one thing or partners?
We work together.
Work together.
So I think that we kind of keep it like, separate, but we support each other. I'd say we're like sister or brother companies in a sense, right? Yeah. Where we both have we have a direction that we need to go in. They have a direction that they need to go in. A lot of times we see eye to eye on almost everything all the time. But sometimes when you align yourself too closely with any entity, you lose the ability to be objective. And we are very specific about our independence and our objectivity.
I feel like working under any company, almost you get censored a little bit because you have to follow their values and ideologies, and, because you can't rub anybody the wrong way, So I also feel like with a lot of the big companies censoring, like I know a lot of people comment on bullshit. It is bullshit, but you have to let them say it.
Yeah, you do.
You can't only let people who are sucking balls say stuff, you know what I mean? Because then you're getting a completely
skewed view on anything you're
what's
talking
going
about.
on. So if you're somebody who knows nothing about racing and you look at this event and everybody's pissing rainbows and saying nice things, you're like, oh, it must be really good there, but it could be really bad. It's just nobody's getting a chance to express what's bad about it. So you have to let everybody have their voice.
Everyone needs their voice. Yeah. I feel like that's.
And if you have such an opinion that you feel is better, then you should be able to correct that person when they have their voice.
Or do it.
Or show other ways,
Yeah, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Pull it off. We have those conversations happen all the time, and I feel like you're right. You do need to allow people to voice their opinions, right? And I think that's
most of the time.
That's where you grow. Those are the points where you grow at.
Because sometimes the constructive criticism is what you need. Yeah. It's kind of like what happened with COVID. You know what I mean? If you didn't follow the narrative, it was either comply or get it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't bullshit. You can't have that. That's government authoritarian bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people applying that to racing, it makes me sick when I see it. I really do. You know what I mean?
You know what it comes down to? And I gotta be honest. Again, it goes back to the reason I built that car. It's the reason I built the car is because I don't want us as NYCE1S to ever be capped. I don't want to be capped. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Jay doesn't want me to be in that car in the staging lanes at any point in time, because if I get a voice to say whatever I want to say in that car next to somebody else, I got a mouth. I'm telling you. And this shit will be, and it's not going to be PG or PC, and it's not going to be your. It's just going to be exactly what I'm saying at the time.
We are all adults too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we also,
you would think.
We also should be able to have a back and forth, tell people that they're cunts and still be their friend.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't have to tell you you're a dick and then fight you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Maybe you are a dick.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's all right for you to be a dick, but you're a dick.
Maybe you're just being a dick to me. Maybe you're fucking amazing to 99% of the world, but you're just a dick to me. And I don't want to tell you you're a dick to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But I don't have to fucking shoot you, fight you. We don't have to fucking. You know what I mean? We can still race side by side. You know.
But everybody's so sensitive now. Like, yo,
man.
I gotta be.
It's the
real.
censoring thing. People only want to hear good comments.
We race every weekend. We would race with the same people from our school. We were on completely different sides of the spectrum. We would bet money and win money or lose money, and if someone didn't pay, we fought each other.
You watched the
right in the fucking parking lot. We would fight each other and be in school the very next fucking day, and be in the cafeteria and be like, "Bitch, we racing next weekend?" Yeah. All right. All the time. There are people in racing today that know that.
Well, the OG Thai Boogie fucking videos you watch, they were going at it back and forth, but you never seen
and
anybody
no one
pulling guns.
Exactly. They knew it was just a game.
I think Charles 45. Yeah. I think he told me one time there was a gun pull. Yeah. I've only ever heard one story, and it was like it's a well-known story. I didn't really get the details. I don't want to talk about it. Obviously, it's a crime, really. But fucking, I think it was only one time. And out of all that shit that all them races they had, the Cartoon Network and all that shit, they all go back and forth. I mean, and that's what you need. What do you think of Cartoon? You like it?
I love Cartoon. I think Cartoon's an amazing human being.
Yo, I think
Cartoon needs to race Caesar already, though. I think Cartoon needs to race Caesar already. I think, Cartoon, listen to me, Cartoon. You can't keep talking wild, crazy. And you can't keep talking wild, crazy, and then be too busy to race this man. You got to race.
But like you said,
he's
got what you're talking about. He's got that persona, the entertainer. He doesn't need the race. He has people. His page is growing and growing and growing, and he hasn't even been out to race yet. You know what I mean? But because he's promoted. He's constantly on promoting himself.
Yeah, he does a great job, and his personality stands out quite a bit. You know who I always says who has one of the best personalities that chooses to do nothing with it, except for when he feels like it? Fast guy. Let me tell you something. Cedric. Yo, listen, and I've said it to him, and he's been like, I just don't want it. Yo, Cedric could hire somebody just to be there to film him from the time he wakes up to the time he goes to sleep and put something out the very next day. He will make like serious YouTube money, like $500,000 a year, type shit. When I was just first year out, I know he made.
When I was a kid, I watched the likes of Overhauling, OCC choppers.
I know those.
This last guy would blow that shit out the
because he's just naturally an entertainer. He's naturally. Nah, he says right. He does not give a damn.
Most people, as soon as you pull the camera, like even me myself, once I put the camera on myself, I get a little. He doesn't have that.
I hate the damn camera.
He stands there with the shit in his face, like, and just talks, and he doesn't care what he says. Like, I be thinking in my head what I'm saying. Next thing you see, he's just flowing.
He is. I feel like his personality. If anybody had the ability to just document what he did from morning until night, they'd be very rich. Because he just it's the way he is. Yeah, and that should tell you that. Yeah. Because as funny as he is, that meant a lot to him. That meant a lot. Bro. You know how many times he came close? You know how many years he raced at that event to lose and go home on a technicality, on a motor blowing, on a this, on a that. Like, yo, if anybody deserved that win, it was Cedric.
He's definitely probably the biggest inspiration in this country, for a lot of stuff.
He's incredible.
I seen him racing with his EK, blue EK, all-wheel drive on the street at Sunday Funday in Mexico, and I've never seen anybody get smoked. You see all-wheel drive versus a front-wheel drive. Yeah. When you see it on the street for the first time, it's like, it's fucking nuts, completely different. It's crazy. And his car was fucking gorgeous as well, so that's when I started following him, and ever since he's just he reaches out, helps you with advice. He told me to go to CLM. He did so much for me. Real gentleman.
Yeah, seriously. Him, I feel like Farrell
as well, yeah, not a gentleman.
Yo, man. If there were more people who raced like Farrell raced, like when I tell you this dude is a genuine dude, he'll tell you to your face whatever he thinks.
No.
Right here. Be like, hey, you know what? You're a bitch. But it's all right. And he'll say it and go about his business like it was no problem. Yeah. But I appreciate that about him because he doesn't do it in a malicious way. He's informing.
But at least you know who he is.
Like, you'll never,
You know?
if anybody ever says that he said one thing and wouldn't say it to your face in any way, shape, or form, he never said it.
He didn't say it.
He never said it.
He would have told me.
He would have told you right in your face. It doesn't matter who it is. There's nobody on this earth that I've seen in racing
People
that
like
said
that
some
don't
shit to
come
him.
around often.
He's with it.
The man can fucking drive.
He can drive.
Even with 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's an assassin.
I was right next to him for his first time second pass. I went up to him with the phone and going up to the window. I was like, how fast are you going to go today? And he goes, hopefully we pull a 7 out of here.
You know what my favorite part about that was?
And I was like,
It was Cedric. It was Cedric. Because Cedric went to his door and told him, don't let off. Don't let off, Chino.
I see Chris Miller went up to him too.
Yeah. Don't
Chris
let
Miller,
off.
Chris Miller closed his little vent on the door as well.
Yep. He said, don't let off.
Said something to him too.
Yo, man, when he won, to see, Fast Guy was more excited.
He went bonkers.
To see Pharaoh run that number than he was when he won the event.
Yeah. No, I seen it. I seen both of them.
Yeah. And the reason that to me is such a
100%
special thing, it's the fact that he showed more emotion, more excitement for watching this boy run that number than getting all that money in his pocket. That is the reason I have enough reason. It's that feeling. Because to date in my life, this is the only place where I've found that. Yeah. Like, it may be in a bunch of other places. But for me, I've only found it here, and it's the thing that keeps me. Knowing that there's somebody else who you've done all this work with who will be more excited for you than you when you win. Only place I've ever seen it actually play out. And when I saw it at H-Day, it was like, I don't even know. I know the camera was on, but I was just enjoying the moment.
Wow.
Like, I was like, yo, if you don't know the feeling of this right here.
Yeah, and then they threw the fucking ice over his head.
It's crazy. It felt like the Super Bowl to me.
Yo,
you know what I mean? Like, and Javier was genuinely, like, we all spoke about it afterwards. The entire staff was happy. Everybody was happy for this man, right? And we talked about how much Pharaoh was like big on that time and how hard these guys work. Like, they've been there from the beginning. You don't forget those type of things. You know what I'm saying? And I think that if people tapped into that so much more, the sport will be in a very different place.
And a lot of people, they tend to say, like, you're an overnight success, but people don't realize it takes 10 years of grinding to be an overnight success.
Everyone we're talking about,
20 years.
Everyone we're talking about has over 10,000 plus hours in this sport at minimum.
We're not even talking about
everybody we mentioned, over 10,000 plus hours in this sport minimum. They could have been spending their time other places. It costed them, we don't even know how much money to get to where they are, because it wasn't like they all had blueprints.
It's almost like
they're innovators.
They're carrying it
Yeah,
right now.
no, absolutely.
I wasn't never really, until I came to this country, I wasn't big on drag racing. It's actually Charles really got me in, took me to a few street races, and I was like, oh my god, this is fucking amazing. And that was me hooked. But back home we do rallying, drifting, stuff like that, But the drag racing, I feel like it's only really, what I see is tri-state and then a few states down the south, but I don't really hear. There's a couple of things out west, right?
I mean, yeah, I think that there's definitely, a lot of drag racing out west.
Doesn't happen middle country though, does it?
It does. It does. It's less popular with imports. More popular with domestics. Yeah. More popular with pro mods. That's what you see Midwest. But you got to remember,
shit with the big fucking.
Even there's an in between, like the street outlaw.
That's what I thought drag racing was.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
I
get it. And then I'm like, hold on a second. They race on fucking Civics,
Exactly. It's the same thing. You got to think about like street outlaws, pro mod builds.
Yeah.
They're in the Midwest. Those venues get packed out. People enjoy it, right? But the bottom line to it is exactly what we talked about before. You're in the in-between of these two worlds. One company feels like, I don't have to give you any money. The driver feels like, I spent so much money, I should choose what I'm able to do with it, right? And you don't get a fair opinion that says, hey, we're both like, I'm scratching your back and you're scratching mine. Part of it is unprofessionalism from the side of these companies. Part of it is expecting a racer to automatically become a marketing guru when you give them a few parts. It's just not realistic.
Yeah.
There's no medium. There's no medium to make sure people are doing proper business. You know what I mean? And you see it with. It's not like these companies don't know what it looks like. Because these same companies that are in drag racing, right? They're in drifting too. And how come they?
I don't know. See,
Yeah, why can they figure it out? They're figuring it out, right? There's no question about Adam LZ being a pro.
Chelsea DeNofa, killing it.
Jimmy Oaks.
Yeah.
There's no difference there. It's the same companies talking to them. Why are they paying X amount of dollars plus parts to multiple drivers, multiple billboards at multiple events? Why is all that happening? You want to know why? Because a lot of times you don't see the drifters looking at this as though this is my hobby. It may be your hobby, but you know you have to be polished in order to get to the next level, to build the next level. That doesn't happen in drag racing because people haven't seen it happen. You know, you just don't see it, right?
Do you feel that maybe because drifting is seen as more of having fun than drag racing, maybe? You know, drag racing seems to be a bit more serious.
It could be, but ultimately, I feel like it's because
Like,
I do put a lot of it on just I put a lot of it on companies. You have to remember, right? Like, you remember the Nopi days? You ever heard about Nopi?
No.
So Nopi Nationals was basically import drag racing events where all this stuff got really popular, right? And the typical format to that was the same format as everybody else. You sponsor a driver, right? The driver figures out, or honestly, a lot of times with Nopi, they were such big companies that they had the marketing manager who worked with the driver and said, hey, driver, I need you to do A, B, C, and D at these events. Can you do it? Yes. Great. Here's your $50,000. Here's all the parts you're going to get. And here's this, that, and the third, right? Same thing as what you would see with drifting and everyone else, right? Makes sense. But then you saw a change where it was like, all right, there's no more Nopi Nationals, right? And now all these segmented events break off and become independently monitored or run by different promoters. And the promoters, right, go to the companies, or the companies go to them and say, hey, I'm going to give you the money.
So it doesn't trickle.
So it doesn't get to the racer. It gets to you because you're running the whole event. Because now it's like, I could be across the entire event and not just on one racer or an expectation on one racer. Then the trickle-down effect comes. Well, if I can just get it to them and I trust the event to market it, no more marketing manager, right? So now there's no more marketing manager for when you decide to work with somebody. And then when you decide to work with them and it doesn't work, oh, well, it doesn't work anymore.
That's why it's a big secret.
And then you see so many failures at it that it just doesn't look possible anymore. When was the last time there was a drag racer in imports that people saw win on the grand stage? I can tell you. I know, right? But did they really capture what happened there, right? You gotta think about Ricky Silva. Ricky Silva had a huge sponsorship. He's the man. He had a huge sponsorship. Ricky is a killer when it comes to racing. Huge sponsorship. Yeah. So you gotta think about that. You saw him get a sponsorship, right? Now name me somebody else.
Joanna G. Marie.
What'd you get sponsored for?
I don't know. I think she's sponsored already.
Is she?
She's gonna carry it out on her own, is she?
A lot of these guys are carrying it on their own.
Sport four-wheel drive.
Yo, name a sport front-wheel drive car that's sponsored. Like majorly sponsored. I'm not talking about parts. Look, companies, if y'all consider sponsorships, giving parts,
like full livery,
you need to have a budget to pay a driver financially, right, in order to be sponsored. If you decide to give them parts on top of that, travel on top of that, that's an even better sponsorship. But sponsorship should be financial at first. We never see that, right? But that's the way it should be negotiated. Pay me for my time. If you're happy with, and then tell me what I need to do.
Set part.
Right? So now you pay me for my time. I've done what you asked me to do the first year. The second year, it's I want to be paid for what I did last year, a little bit more, and I want to get my travel fees covered because I did well with that. Now I'm going to do what I did last year and then some, and then what do you want to add? Third year, same thing except more. I'm going to be at all these events. I'm going to be at the booth. I'm going to be displayed. There's a growth to this that should be working for a lot of people, right?
What does the company want in return for that?
That's an amazing question.
You want your soul?
Do you own a company?
Well, Canada, there's a lot of
little company, right?
Okay. Small.
Perfect.
Maybe.
If you sponsor somebody, what would you want?
eyes on the company. Advertising, marketing, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So you just want people to see it. You don't want people to buy it.
No, I definitely want to make sales.
You want to make sales.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it's not necessarily eyes; it's sales. Like you don't care if people see it as long as it's sales.
In my mind, I would think the eyes will bring you the sales. So.
True.
Yeah.
But that
Not always.
here we go. Right? Ready? Ready for the switch there? A lot of companies think that way. And then you get
Maybe
all
that's
the eyes.
lamest term thinking,
You
right?
get all the eyes that you want because you're thinking about it perfectly, just like everyone else.
Yep.
You get all the eyes on it. Now, who converts those eyes to sales? You don't got time to do that. You're busy taking on the sales that came in.
Yeah.
So
Who's
who's
converting
converting it?
watchers?
You're getting watchers.
Yeah.
When you have a larger company that has somebody to convert that, they're going to get more sales, right? Or you talk to the person who you're sponsoring and say, listen, I need to have sales, and this is how I want this lined up. Send them to my website, have them schedule, set it up with your web. You get what I mean? Like, if you gave it some structure to it, then you can decipher what a sponsorship is worth to you. So to answer your question, every company's need is different. The first thing I do when I go to a company, and I'm talking about a racer, is I assess what the racer is capable of doing. How many contacts do you have to media outlets? How many followers do you have yourself? Right? How many wins? How many losses? What's done to the car? What's important to you? I know all that stuff, and I keep that stuff in my back pocket and don't say anything until I speak to the company about what they want. I know what my driver can do. I need to know exactly what you want. And then it's connecting the dots. It's, all right, he does this, that checks out. He does that,
And
that checks out.
how what you do in the car, how does that convert to the company for something that's good? Right? Like, how does that convert to a sale? Like, would you say that the racer would have to set up sales for them, like maybe through word of mouth? Like,
I don't think, I think it's on the responsibility of the racer and the manager or whoever is taking on that role for them to make sure that whoever the sponsor is quantifies it for them. So great, I appreciate the sponsorship. What do you want from me? How do you want me to do that? And what is success look like?
Does sponsorships come with certain shackles? Like, you'll have to follow their narratives. Like, if somebody's giving you money now, are you under their rule, kind of thing?
I mean, honestly, companies should come with terms of an agreement, right? Which tells you all those things.
Yeah.
But typically, if they don't come with terms of agreement, then you just don't want to do anything that puts them in a bad light. Like, you got to remember, you don't have to always say everything good if it's not good.
Yeah.
You just don't have to say anything.
Because I feel like that's what happens.
No comment. Like,
Yeah, there you go. I feel like what happens with a lot of partnerships is the partnership runs fine, but it's your other interests that hold you back.
Yeah.
So say, like, you be the best fucking driver in the world, but you like Donald Trump or you like fucking Joe Biden or your politics or your religion, so that falls into it.
you gotta listen. Companies have to be able to make sure that they help the driver understand what parts aren't good for their brand, and the driver has to decipher whether or not that separation is natural or true to themselves in order to market the product. And somebody has to decipher all that in between. And right now, none of that's happening, which is why a lot of times it's not working. It's happening in drifting.
Yeah.
You want to know why it's happening in drifting? Because the drivers know the importance of it is pivotal to the success of their program. Adam Elsie is doing that. Adam Elsie is teaching Jimmy to do that. Jimmy is teaching the next person.
Ken Block was the first, right?
Ken Block was the first. You feel what I'm saying? So there's each one teach one there that's keeping things in order.
I believe he was the first that made like a YouTube video of car wrecking like that. Really?
Pretty much.
Tim Cano was the first, I think.
Where they got a major sponsorship for what they were doing. Yeah.
Red Bull carried him right at the start.
Yep. Red Bull. So it's like you really have to think about all those things. Those things are major in order for you to be successful, and it doesn't exist in drag racing, import drag racing, because there's just no middle ground. Like, it's the wild, wild west all over again in a sense. And until people go into it with that mindset with certain companies, there are a lot of people who are very successful in sponsorships that don't talk about it like crazy. Sounds like a walking contradiction, right? I'm sponsored, but I don't talk about it. It's because you know what
It's like a taboo something.
No, you're responsible. You know what you're responsible for doing.
Yeah.
If the company didn't advocate for more, why are you giving them more? The company's responsible for telling you what you need to do. If the company's lackadaisical about it, you're not talking about it, whose fault is that?
I like the under promise and over deliver.
It's true. And you want to know what? As amazing as that is, unless you get to the person who's making the decision to hear that, it'll never go anywhere. Because the guys that are at the bottom don't care nothing about that. The guys that are at the bottom are the ones who are saying that's fast cars on the internet. But they have no power to give you an approval. They just have the power to bring it to the next person. Now think about it. Yeah. You're the guy. You work for yourself, right? You work for yourself. There's another version of you. You're the boss. You're in the back room doing the paperwork. You're out here washing the car. You take 5 minutes to go look at something on Instagram. You're like, wow, I just noticed that guy. You're gonna go back to finishing the car, right? Mm-hmm. You're not gonna go advocate to the boss. Well, hey, you should do a spot. That's the boss's job. The boss is too busy doing what they got. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, there's a vicious cycle to small businesses who can do really well when it comes to import drag racing in their local area, and they have no time to do it, and drivers aren't approaching them, and events don't even look at it as a possibility. It's crazy.
What for someone who was just getting started, would you say I know you prefer track over street, right? He says on the shirt, I street is that home. But
there's two sides. There's two sides.
You,
right?
You personally.
So me personally, right? I love street. Mm-hmm. I love the street. Julian loves the track. Yeah. I love the street. I love everything about it. Mm-hmm. I love the shit talk that goes into it. I love the energy that's into it. I love win, lose, or draw. I love it. There's no freaking money. Yeah. But I love it.
I love racing on the street, but I don't have the money to hang with these boys. These fucking cunts, 10 grand and all the they want the race for crazy money. You know, I tell people I want to race for fun, they laugh at me.
Yeah, no one races.
Because I don't care if you win. I just want to race. I just love driving. You know, but no one wants to do that out of it.
No, it's always
for big notes.
Part of it is the money. Part of it is definitely the money.
If I lose that rent money, we're homeless. I mean, fuck that.
I'm telling you. And the thing is that I don't gamble. Yeah. I'm not a gambler.
So one thing I've noticed is there's racers and then there's gamblers.
Yeah.
So there's people like me who just love to drive. But then there's people who love to fucking gamble and don't give a fuck about driving. And they're the ones who want to inflate the pot and throw money in, and they be on you, oh, you're gay, you won't race with it. I'm like, bro, you just want that money on. That's the only reason why you want me to race.
A lot of times. You know what it comes down to? Those types of people typically become the financiers of race programs eventually. Mm. Like it starts
like Dana White's.
Yo, it starts where I'm just betting money and I'm flipping money, right? And money's the first, that's like the entry level addiction. Money. I'm gonna put out this money, I'm gonna get some more money.
Because double your money.
Right, great.
That's fucking
now
nice.
You got alright, now you got all your money, right?
If you win.
Now if you win, you got all your money, right? You know what the next addiction is?
Yep.
Attention.
100%.
Because after you get the money, you're gonna want attention for getting the money. Because only you're celebrating a week later. Like if you still have the money in your pocket, you're the only one excited about that. Ain't nobody even thinking about that right now, right? But the attention lasts a little bit longer. That might last 2 weeks, right? So now, the attention.
10 years ago, if you put out a video, you were a man for a few months. Whereas now, you put out a video, it's forgotten in 10 minutes.
We never forget that. That's why we always do longer form, detailed content infrequent. And the reason we do that, the reason we do that is because we want to lay the foundation for what racing is. It's not just a pass. It's not just an argument. It's not just this car versus that. It's not just a setup. We like to go ahead and make sure that if everything, God forbid, was wiped off the planet today, and they found one piece of content to describe import drag racing, we want it to be ours. Because you'll get it by the time you're done watching. Yeah. There's a lot of times, and a lot of other people that shoot, you won't get it. You just get that car what it made it be, and it was faster than that. When it's bigger,
that is cinematic.
Not even. I don't give a damn about that. That's my style. I don't give a damn if it's cinematic. What's the story? You can shoot the story with this.
Yeah.
What's the story?
You can make it cinematic with that.
Yeah. What's the story? Tell me the story.
People underestimate that device in their pocket. You can do so fucking much with it.
Have you ever watched any 80s movies? Any? Okay. Do you know that the camera that they shot those 80s movies on is way worse than this in there?
Hell yeah.
So that you're capable of whatever if you put your mind to it.
Well, And the shit they had was fucking probably this size. I mean, it's just
And it
it's
wasn't
in
shooting
your pocket.
as well, right?
And it's not just it's not just the camera. You can call, you can text, you can fucking you got internet. It does so much, you know. And I think the next version is we're either going in there or that's going in here.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Because it's getting closer and closer.
See that Neuralink shit?
I'm not with it.
Yo, did you see it though? The
I've
quadriplegic.
heard.
Yo, he can fucking write messages on the computer with his mind. He can move cursors with his mind. They're talking about putting him in a robot. That the robot will move and it'll just hold him like in a kangaroo pouch in the front, and he'll just be walking around.
No.
Yo, and this is not.
No. That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
You know how close we're getting to like Skynet and Terminator days at this
It's
point?
already here. It's already here. And then the crazy part is, like, there's no turning it off now.
No. People like money.
Mm.
The same thing that we just talked about applies to everything.
People don't like
First
to
it's
work
money,
either.
then it's attention.
A lot of people are lazy too, so a lot of people don't like to put in the work, so a lot of this artificial intelligence is going to replace loads of that, you know? And you're just going to sit there and you're just going to get your dopamine hit from your scrolling or whatever, but watching on your fucking shit.
I could never. I'm to the point I will always have a gasoline powered vehicle in my possession. If everything goes freaking wrong, I want one.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I want one.
Living on Long Island, I want a boat too, because if they close the bridges here in Long Island, you're fucked to pick it out.
You're right.
Stop. So without a boat, you ain't going nowhere.
That's crazy. I never thought about that.
They lock you in, straight on the island. It's fucking, right? Like, people don't, it's,
No way.
yo, I bet it happened on 9/11. I bet they closed the bridges on 9/11.
They probably did.
You know? You lived here after 9/11?
Yeah. I remember there was.
Yo, Connecticut, you're from Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
Yo, I wrote on the board, Connecticut has the best pizza in the world, right?
It does.
Yo, I seen
Brian,
you said it on
listen,
Brian, so that's why I
listen.
wanted to bring it up.
Brian from Eat Sleep Race lied and said New York and New Jersey had the best. That was a
You know
lie.
why I say that though?
Why?
Dave Portnoy. You know who Dave Portnoy is? Yo, Dave Portnoy.
Yo,
if
David,
he
that
says
guy,
pizza
thank
is,
you.
I mean,
New Haven Pizza.
he said it's the best, and he's in New York. So if he says it's the best, then I listen to him. The man's
Yeah,
trying to
sure.
bring pizza.
That's his
fucking
job.
in the world. That's his job.
Are you
That's
listening
what
to
he does.
Dave or are you listening to Brian from Eat Sleep Race about pizza?
Correct. Now, if Brian wants to tell me about hoodies or fucking shit, or
Yeah,
I'll
what
listen
else?
to him all day.
But
But
not pizza.
Dave Portnoy knows what he's talking about.
He does. And the pizza in Connecticut is phenomenal.
I heard it's the best, and I heard it's because there's a lot of retired mob bosses moved to Connecticut after all this shit dissolved already.
So wait. All right, we went to a completely different place. Now, you ready for? We're gonna go through a story. You ready?
Go.
All right.
Please, dude.
Did you ever watch the Netflix series, Bad Sport or something like that? It had to do with like Danbury hockey football. No, a Danbury hockey team.
We'll have to watch it now. What do you
Okay.
call Bad Sport?
I think it's called Bad Sport. Something like I'll send it to you.
You live in Denver?
I grew up in Danbury, so I did all my
It's
racing.
nice
in
over
Danbury. It's nice over
I
there.
built a couple of gas stations over there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was working for like a union gas company for a while.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time there. I grew up there. Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice spot. So when I was going to school out there, there was always a rumor about, the mob owned the garbage company.
All
Mob owned the garbage company. We know that the mob owned the garbage company,
right
right?
in the bodies.
Fast forward, right? The show comes out. Sopranos comes out. And we're all like kind of watching it. We're like, this looks like AWD. Like, this looked like, not for nothing. I know that it doesn't set up in Connecticut, but where they dump the bodies is in Connecticut. Like, we're watching Sopranos and we're like, yo, this shit looks
right on.
like this. Fast forward, Netflix does the documentary on the Danbury Trashers. Danbury Trashers was a semi-pro hockey team in Danbury that was bought by a person who owned the garbage company. The guy who owned the garbage company was a mob boss. And he bought the Trashers team for his son, AJ. Do you know the son's name in The Sopranos? AJ. Do you know who they based it off of? That same person who bought the Danbury trash. They have a whole documentary on it.
Yo, you
I
watched The Sopranos start to finish?
yes.
Yo, how many times did I tell you I want to watch The Sopranos?
You ever watched The Sopranos?
I've watched bits of it. I've never watched it because I'm not a big TV dude. You know what I mean? But
I need you to stop everything you're doing. I need you to stop everything in life. No.
no, I've seen.
No,
Like,
no, listen to me.
yeah, I know.
I need you to stop everything in life.
Do it, yeah, I know.
And
Tonight we gotta do it.
Yo,
I'm telling you.
you will never feel badly about making this decision.
Yeah.
It is one of the most important decisions in your life.
He's a mad.
I'm going to tell you why. Because that show was, from a film perspective, damn near the perfect show. But the fact that they based it so closely off of a real person, to the point that nobody knew, but when we watched the show, it was like,
the guy's a flat out murderer, and you end up supporting him, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you just want it, like, you love him. That's
you gotta watch. You gotta watch The Sopranos first, then watch this documentary on Netflix, and you'll see all the connections. I actually have one of the jerseys signed by the original Tony Soprano.
oh shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Really
Like,
good,
It was an
so
insane
you like
story.
all the old mafia movies, Goodfellas, fucking Casino.
I mean, no. I mean, I can't say that I love them all. I mean, I can say that I love The Sopranos. I can say that I love, like, I'm a real picky man. Because I love film, and because, like, the first time I watch it, it's for entertainment. The second time I watch it, to study. Like, it's insane. Like, I watch...
You ever watch a movie called The Devil's Own?
What's it about?
Brad Pitt and Harrison Ford. About Brad Pitt's a kid from Belfast, Ireland, and he comes over to New York. They fucking buy guns to smuggle back to Ireland for the IRA.
No.
Let's watch that one.
I watched all of Sons of Anarchy.
Sounds like it's fucking. That's another one. I've only seen 1 or 2 episodes. Never watched it all. Do you know what else I haven't seen? You ready? What's that other one with everybody with the castles and the fighting? Game of Thrones.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I'm in the 1% of people who haven't.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I know. I should be judged.
I watched Piggy Blinders, so you watched that one?
I watched Peaky Blinders. I haven't gotten through
First
all of that.
episode, shit.
Yeah, I
First
watched. No, I
episode.
got past all that,
Yeah.
and it got good.
You watch Ray Donovan?
No. Is it good? Really? Wait a minute.
There's like
Did you
10
watch?
there's
No,
like
wait.
10
Did
seasons.
you watch any of Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah, when it first came out, Jackson and all that.
All right. So you watched like the first
but they had
season.
the IRA and all,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, so you saw that part. of
Yeah.
it. All right.
Yeah.
I need to make sure.
So Game of Thrones was shot in Belfast.
Really?
Yeah, parts of Game of Thrones. You go to Game of Thrones. I brought her. She's seen the whole the scene and all. You see all like the fucking fake background and all that shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How is Belfast like? What's it like?
I say it's a shithole, but it's home. I love it. But you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a mad place. You know, it's there's very negative mentality for the most part. You know, but the place was at war for a long time. You know.
Yeah, I did hear that.
But still today, like, we're not at war, but there's still a lot of political bullshit that keeps us apart. You know, the Brits were the best masterminds at divide and conquer.
Yeah.
So they taught everybody how to hate each other because it's much easier to control a population that hates each other. You know, you can't control them when they love each other.
Yeah, it's true.
So they teach that shit from the get go, from the schools. You know, like, my mother and father used to tell me, "Oh, we hate." They call Protestants oranges or Huns, or they have names for us, and you know, like your mother and father would have taught you this when you were a little kid, and then when you got older, you're like you realize nobody actually hates each other, but when they put the divides up, everyone hates each other. You know, like in Belfast, we have this wall that runs right through the middle of the city. That it's like 3 stories high, barbed wire on the top of it. It's called a peace wall. And they keep Protestants on one side, Catholics on the other. And in certain parts, at 10 o'clock at night, they close the gate. You're not allowed to go on the other side. You got to drive around.
Really?
Yeah, you go.
And that's in 2024.
Correct, 2024. And these are the same people, same color. They're just different religion, and they fucking murder each other. And they throw butt bricks and bottles and petrol bombs and pipe bombs and nail bombs. And fucking, they do. They have the Protestants every year. They have this parade on the 12th of July. It's like, to be honest, I forget the fucking history of it, but it's to do with a battle of fucking some battle way back in Nam, fucking hundreds of years ago, and they still fucking celebrate it today. And they build these things called bonfires out of wooden pallets, and they go like they're like skyscrapers, say, and then they put Irish flags all around them, right on our fucking back doorstep, right in front of us, and they set the shit on fire. They call it culture, and they have a big celebration. Right? Like,
Yo, that's a celebration.
the crazy part is like most of those people, they will tell you that they hit Catholics or they hit, you know what I mean? Like nobody really knows.
They're just used to
Shit's
it.
just plumbed into you, you know?
They're
It's
just used to it.
plumbed into you. You know, it's like you don't really. It's like you just pick this shit up from your elders. You don't really fucking. You don't actually believe it. You know, and you just go, and then because everybody's segregated, you end up being a victim of it. You know,
It's crazy. I don't know if I ever would have thought that in Belfast. And then that's the other side of it. You know what I mean? Like when you think about, right, like we all love race and we make it very universal.
Yeah.
But, you know, like us as a country, we're just very close-minded to the things that happen anywhere else in the world. That's one thing that NYCE1S has always given me. Like I've always had the ability to travel and see different things and see different cultures along the way. You know what I mean? And how people enjoy racing. But not just that, just how different cultures could actually be. You know what I mean? I encourage anybody.
leaving your hometown.
Yeah, get out and
Yeah.
see something different. Take a season off from racing. Take that money and go travel. See something different, come back. Your mind will be totally different.
Yeah. And then also you'll see it'll make you appreciate it because people don't realize how lucky they are to live in this country.
It's true.
This country is fucking beautiful, and not only is it beautiful, it's 50 different countries.
Yeah, it's true.
So if you don't like it here, you can go to another state. It's a whole nother country.
Yeah.
But a whole nother climate, a whole nother fucking landscape. You know, all different opportunities, all different people. You know, and like all walks of life come to this country. You go to Ireland, everybody's fucking seeing. You know, everybody's close-minded, small-minded, negative mentality. That a lot of people have money, so when they see people having money, they get envious or jealous. You know. Whereas in America, most people pat you on the back and tell you, go for it. You can do it. You got this.
Yeah.
I've never been told that by any other human in my life until
You know
I
what?
came to
That's
this
a real
country.
good point, man. You know,
Americans do that for you. Americans believe in people. They believe in the hustle. They believe in doing well for yourself. You know?
I can tell you a few different things, right? This is one thing that that NYCE1S is really about. We never get political because we're always neutral.
Yeah.
But we believe in this country. Like
It's America.
you're
America.
never gonna. Yo, I'm gonna tell you.
We the people.
You
right?
never putting a flag on the ground around me. That's never happened. And we've all been pretty universal in that. You know what I mean?
And if you don't want to feel like that, don't live it.
Yeah, leave.
It's very
I get
easy.
it.
You know what I
It's
mean?
not perfect. No place is perfect. You know what I mean? But if you compare it to everywhere else that has challenges, bigger challenges, smaller challenges, you're doing all right. And you kind of have to appreciate a lot of it.
You got fucking kids in Africa dying of diarrhea because they don't have access to clean water.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
that's a regular life for them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We don't know what the fuck that is. You know? We're worried about chlorine in the pool.
Yeah.
These cunts don't even have water to drink.
Yeah, no one, I
You
mean,
know?
even people who don't have means in this country have more means than most middle classes anywhere else.
First world problems.
Yeah, that's the first thing that I say all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's a common thing at home to be able to say that, yo, that's first world problems. Like, we really don't.
We're super lucky to be
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
A lot of people take this place for granted. They don't
Yeah,
realize how
it's
lucky
true.
they are to be here.
That's true.
You know, like if I came to this country with $900 and made a life for myself, man, an amazing woman, got so fucking blessed. You know, I can't. She did everything for me. You know, but like coming to this country, it's not. What was I saying there before I said about you? I went off because I started talking about you. What was I just saying there before? Opportunities. Like if I gave you $900 and say go to Ireland and make a life for yourself, you're not getting out of the airport.
I'm never gonna make it
I
right.
came to this country with $900 and made a fucking life for myself because people like her, people like yourself, people want to see you do well. It's you don't get that in my country. You know, my country, it's like I think it's actually a British mentality that came from the royal family that when people get up, they take you down, they bring you down a peg or two. It's actually part of the culture.
It's crazy because I've always seen it as, you know, money reveals a person a lot of times. It doesn't change a person to make a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have
It shows you what
attention
you're
does the
into.
same
what
thing.
you're-
Attention's the same thing. Like when I first started with NYCE1S, that was probably one of the number one things that I was uncomfortable with. I didn't like having access to the red button. I was like, what if I become like one of those assholes that love to be in front of it all the time and try to make it about me or whatever else?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I used to ask Jay about that all the time. Because Jay doesn't
very
have
easy.
that. Jay doesn't have that in him at all. That's the most humble dude I've ever seen at a racetrack. Humble.
Normal human nature as well. Even with the phones, like I know that I shouldn't be on the phone scrolling, But when you get that wee dopamine hit of somebody liking a post or commenting, it's designed to be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
It's hard. It makes it hard, you know. But you have to be.
I feel so
strong
different.
with it.
I mean, it's true, but I feel so different about that. Like, I do not care. And the reason I don't care is because honestly, like, I have a very specific life that I'm trying to live. And it's simple. It's about being happy. It's not about sweating small stuff. I don't make a lot of things personal. And I stand on my 2 feet about the things that I believe in. And I keep that very simple, right? So if I have all that very simple, all the other stuff really doesn't matter to me that much. You like it, you like it. I mean, media will humble you in the greatest way possible. Because there were times I've worked on things for 30 hours. Saw every detail, every cut perfect, every color correction perfect, this, that, and the third. And then one person would be like, oh, I'm not sure, I don't care. Right? When you start to judge your art off of the amount of applause that you get, you're in the wrong business if it even comes across your mind. Like, I put that out of my mind a long time ago. I put it out, whatever it comes with, whatever it doesn't. It's really good. Did it pass what I was looking for? If it passed that, it was good enough to go. That's it. I don't look back at it.
What advice would you give to someone who was wanting to get into a media business like kind of what you're doing?
If you want to get into media, I think the first thing you have to think about is what is your niche, meaning what is your specialty, what is your expertise, right? And then once you have that expertise, you have to feel like you are accomplished in it before you go out and feel like you can make money. No one wants you to make a mistake on them first, second, or third. You have to be passionate about it to become good at it before you go about billing or getting any new clients. You got to be passionate enough about it. Just do it.
It's almost cliche, but you can't really do it for the money, even though you're probably going to need to do it for the money, but you got to do it for the love first.
You have to love it because it's so, like, I'll give you an example, right?
Like this shit, it breaks your fucking heart.
There's no loves I have in my life that don't. I love this and I love film. Both of them kick you in the teeth.
All the time.
Every minute of every day, right?
You're stronger with it. Right?
Yeah, so 10,000 hour rule. You know what that is?
No. Oh, yeah. You have to spend 10,000 hours on something before you become an expert or
an expert, right? Where you can't really, and then the thing that most people don't hear afterwards is, and then you have to keep doing that. You keep sacking out. You keep competing. You keep looking.
Yeah, just because you got the 10,000
doesn't mean you're it. You know what I mean? You're only as it as you are currently, right?
That's what you put in.
So you have to make sure if you're going to do media that you're willing to be that calm. Like, I admire a lot of people's work. I'm never hating on anybody's work. I learned something new from everybody's work. I'll give you an example, right? I think Shark does the most amazing work with that GoPro 360. I think the fact,
the way
two things.
It together in
two
the
things.
Stages,
Two
everybody
things.
copied that shit too.
Two things. Number one, he's got the balls to put that $500 camera on a car going down that you just lose.
But he doesn't even know.
Yo, listen.
He doesn't even know the guy's right.
I'm not good with that. Like, I have two of them, and they're like, yo,
he
let's
has
put
an
it
objective. He don't give
yeah,
a fuck.
he's like, and my guys are like, yo, let's put it on. I'm like, nah. Just put it in the car. So I give him credit for that. Number one. Number two is, I think that he understands his technical ability and plays to that well, and it served him very well. He's not looking at the guy who's next to him who's doing whatever. He's doing what he likes, the way he sees it, and the people are attracted to it, and he knows how to perfect that. I give that a lot of credit. You know what I mean? Where
he made a style. The three, like the way he would do the outside the car, inside the car, you know, or like he had three different. I feel like he was
three different angles.
He was the first person to do that for me.
Yeah, video wise, yeah.
I feel like
yeah. And I feel like it makes for a great base. You know what I mean?
Unreal.
It always makes for.
And then he's also phenomenal at the lives because he just shimmies in and he gets right into the middle of the action and he just holds his phone and you don't even notice him and he doesn't really.
Yeah, Shark has zero understanding of personal space, and I feel like that is exactly the reason why he's good at what he does.
He does.
He will literally be right here and be like this. Yo, so how you doing, my boy? You good? Are you good? Like, he does not care.
And he gets away with it,
at H-Day.
Nobody else is doing that.
At H-Day, this man had his phone plugged into a battery pack on his person and just stayed alive for longer than anybody I've ever seen stay alive. I was like, yo, are you on lucky kid? He was live in the pits. He was live when he was eating.
Yep.
He was live in the truck with us.
And then
He was live on the track. He was live in the stands. He was live when the event closed down. He was back live in the pitch when people were putting together. He never, yo, I swear to God, he probably slept with the shit on live. He probably slept and pointed it at himself. Wherever he slept, turned the light on with the shit plugged in on live, just let it run. Just let it run.
And he is there at everything. He's always had them. It's straight races. Like sometimes he was at 2 different races in one night. No, he no fucking messing with him. He's not a slacker at all.
Yeah, he does the work. He does the work. Yeah. And he established a style that really works for him. You know what I mean? I think when it comes to like film and racing,
He gets it.
both of those things come into play when it comes to breaking your heart. You know what I mean? Because there's no perfect way of doing it. You got to be on top of it all the time. Like, I've come to a point when it comes to media where, yeah, I'll shoot something that I really enjoy and edit it, not off the money, but off of passion. Like, we do a lot of events, we do a lot of marketing, promotion. We do a lot of those different things. Like, we'll do a lot of flyers. Like, we just do a lot more with bigger events and less with content, unless it's something that moves us, right? To the point that, like, I've been working on a short film for the past 3 years. I just don't. I feel like that's where my next challenge is. I don't feel like it's on YouTube. I don't feel like it's on TikTok or social media. I just don't. I feel like
I
it's
feel
gotta
like
be.
a racing movie would go down so fucking well. Like, I mean, people were thirsty for it. I mean,
So
thirsty for it. You know, because like, look at the original Fast and Furious. Like how cheesy it was, man. It was amazing. You know what I mean? It fucking sparked so much.
so I've been working on the script for 3 years. The idea for probably like 5 years, only because I just never, I understand all the rules to film, right? Like I'm dedicated to the point that
Then there's the Hollywood side.
I learned how to do directing first, right? So I can direct what's happening, which means I'm not holding the camera at all.
Mm.
Then because I was passionate about directing and I didn't want to have to wait to figure out a camera guy, I learned to shoot. And then I became a camera guy and a director. Then because I didn't want to wait to see the outcome, I learned to edit. So now I'm a director, a camera guy, and an editor. And then because I didn't want to wait to figure out how a producer could get the locations, I started to produce. And then I started sound design and color correction. All those are 6 different people that you need in the crew that I made sure that I learned how to do each one of those positions, right? So I felt pretty good about that. But then you need somebody who's able to write to make a scripted film.
Mm.
It took me 3 years to look for writers, talk to writers. You want to know the hardest part about making a movie that I understand now, about this particular movie, is that I could give it to a writer and give them the idea about it, but they weren't of the culture enough to make it feel real. Yeah. So when we talk about Fast and Furious, you have to remember that the reason that they had so much of what attracted us to begin with was because they came out on the street and saw Ralphie do it. But then the reason it became very flimsy was because those people were no longer involved in the rest of the process, so they guessed that. And what they did was
I know it works.
Yeah.
Listen, Jimmy.
I don't know. I think I had this conversation.
The Subaru Forester here. Shut the fuck up.
Let me tell you. I think I said this to what's his new what's your new social media handle? AI. Gianni. I said this to Gianni. I know it's like AI or something like that. But I said to Gianni, I said, you know what Fast and Furious is? Fast and Furious is literally a pickup and paste of that movie with Keanu Reeves, where he's a surfer and he robs banks and all that other stuff. Point Break.
They made a remake of that
one.
And
the Furious is lift up. Yo, play it scene by scene. Watch when the main character comes in. Watch how they act. Watch where the conflict comes in. Watch where they separate. Watch where the crimes happen. And then I watched the documentary with Ralphie. You know what the writer said? We didn't know what we were doing, so we just copied one of the books. Or Point Break. That's it. So the reason why it felt great was because they had examples of what was actually happening.
Yeah.
But the reason why it kind of fell off cheesy was because
flavor, but it didn't have the whole recipe.
Right. So I've learned a new respect for that because when I go to talk to writers, and I have access to writers.
But maybe you don't need to go that route anymore because of what's available now with Netflix and fucking podcasts and shit. They make it independent and just say fuck it.
Well, that's what it took me the 3 years, because I spent so much time trying to talk to like writers who didn't understand the culture, and then I spoke to people who understood the culture who couldn't really write. So now it's like they made it all about racing. They made it all about, and it's like that's not a story. That's not a story. You're not going to get the regular people to come in and have a conversation with you, right? So now you've lost. So there was never.
You want the grannies and the women and everybody to watch. You want everybody to come out and go.
You want someone who has no idea about racing to leave the movie theater and be like, "I got it."
Like me, when I watched Fast and Furious, I wanted a 10-second car more than anything in the world.
But you got it, right? They figured it out, right?
Yeah, but even though Diesel saying, even though me a 10-second car, I was like, oh my, I didn't know what the fuck a 10-second car was, but I wanted
even though it had a GE in there, not a GTE when they popped it in, right?
Even though there was so many.
Yeah.
The car had 17 gears.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
I mean? Even
though in the Mitsubishi Eclipse they had all the lines hanging below, and that car couldn't possibly go that
when
fast
you read one
because it was a GS.
When you read one jump the bridge and the oh man, it was hard.
So you get it, right?
But it worked.
It did work.
You didn't notice it until 10 years later.
It worked in the absence of what was really happening. It worked in the absence. Where for me, and I kind of slipped a little bit, so I'm gonna go back for a second, and I'm gonna break my one rule that I have, right? I try not to talk about things before they're done, right? But so I kept saying One in the Break, right? One in the Break is actually the name of the movie.
Point Break.
No,
One in the Break.
One in the Break.
Point Break's like fucking skiing or like,
no surfing.
Yeah.
So mine was One in the Break, and you know the terminology.
Yeah.
Giving somebody one in the break, right? So
okay. One in the lead.
One in the lead, right? Yeah. And we called it up here One in the Break. So the story is
which is for people that don't know, you're basically giving them a spot off the line, right?
Well, you're giving them a spot off the line and the lead.
And letting them go. So the light doesn't have to go green. Once he goes, the race is over.
Then you go. Right, exactly. Right. So
chases a race.
Exactly. That's basically the whole premise behind the chases a race, right? And so
you get the cheerleaders from saying, "Chase the race."
Yeah, just stay out. But it's like I figured, why not put together a realistic movie about street racing that happened in New York City from a different perspective, like the perspective that people haven't seen. So I took a master class and started learning to write, and then had to begin to write it myself. Yeah, it's an amazing flick. I mean, it really has to do with a guy who ended up losing his mom early on, right? Ends up getting into trouble.
Talking at the heartstrings right away.
Yeah. He loses it. A few of the things that were really important to me in doing like a film like this, right? And because I've seen generations of racing kind of happen, I'm big about making it mean something. So I wanted to take the opportunity to make his mother his example. I believe there's so many, beautiful fatherless homes, right? Yeah. Like it's important to see a strong woman in position even when it comes to racing, and I've seen that. Like everything that I wrote this story about was about seeing different things. Like when I thought about his mother, I thought about Lisa Kuba. Like when I was writing his mom and the streaks of his mom, I was thinking about Lisa Kuba at the time because she's one of the strongest female racers I've ever met, had the opportunity to talk to. Like she's just incredible. So a lot of that grit came from her, right? And then like the main character themselves, losing her and then having to get it out of the mud pretty much himself, right? So she leaves, he's left with a lot of money. He does what any young person would do, bets it, races, goes to jail, catches a felony, comes out, and is trying to like kind of make his life really straight. He's like, I don't want to get into racing no more. My mom left me with a lot of debt. I got to try and save this shop. I just want to get a job, do the right thing, see my daughter, right? That's all I want to do. And he tries that, but then because he has a felony, he's getting kicked out of jobs. So he can't do that. And at the same time, he can't like take custody of his daughter because of those things. So things become very desperate. And he goes back to what he knows, which is street racing. And there's no one knocking on his door for a sponsorship. Mm-hmm. So he goes to the local guys or the gamblers. I don't care how you get the money. You're telling me you can flip the money? I'm going to give you this money to go build your car, and here's the money to bet with, and by the end of the summer, you better come back with everything plus my investment. Because I know you, I trust you, right? but I don't care how you get it, right? But you're responsible for getting it. So he ends up just going back to what he knows and getting back together with the people that he knows, and everybody kind of has a role. Like, you have a friend group, right?
Yeah.
So there's a guy who's like your crew chief. There's a guy who's your tuner. There's a guy. So I'm surrounding him with the people that are now in the sport in the sense that he's known.
Yep.
Who help him do what he needs to do. There's that quintessential part of, they go to the street and they race the next guy, they race the next guy, they race the next guy. Something blows up, something happens, he has to reconnect with an old person that he had, fix that relationship, and then eventually come out and hopefully win, right? But there's a lot of things that happen in between. And I'd say that it's a mixture of what you saw maybe in Fast and Furious and New Jersey Drive. Because a lot of it is there's a criminal element to it. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about jacking people for radios.
No.
Back in the day, they were stealing cars.
Putting a lot on the line.
You were stealing cars. You were stealing cars for parts. You were, dropping them off and getting them chopped up. Like,
I didn't take that out of your head and go back to your eyelashes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
and these cars you can take them with lollipops there. You don't fucking need nothing.
Don't take nothing. So a lot of the idea is really based on, things that happened in New York City at the time.
Car crime was massive here, right?
It was.
In the 90s. You had a special auto crane team as well here, I heard.
I mean, we did for a while. It didn't. I mean, we have a more fierce one now when it comes to anybody who's trying to take takeovers. That's a real crime. The other guys.
Seen that? They charging people giving people $400 fine for watching.
Yeah. And then it's a felony.
That doesn't sound like America to me.
And then
that sounds very Russian and Chinese.
Yeah, it is. It's all because they want to eliminate. You gotta remember.
Communist, that sounds like. I know takeovers are fucking bullshit and all that, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's definitely going too far. And honestly, you have a really zealous man.
Bit of freedom.
You got a zealous man. He wants to make sure that people never forget him. Yeah. But that's always the case when it comes to law.
Yeah, but they've been running people over. So.
Yeah. I mean, they've been jumping in front of it, though, too. They've been jumping in it.
So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stand in the middle so the car goes
so they get whacked. No. Some of these dudes just jump in the quarter panel. Like, you can't tell me that they're not jumping in there enjoying getting flipped over. You never made it to the middle. You had no shot at making it to the middle. Everybody has depth perception, right?
Yeah.
You see the velocity of the cars coming at.
I don't think they
and you know you a little big to be trying to run in between that car.
I don't think I think they got a little wind between the ears, and they're not car people, and they don't know
like
what
people enjoy getting slapped.
Think so?
I think people enjoy bounce. I think it's a badge of honor for them to bounce off somebody's quarter panel.
Oh, so they're going to go viral now because they're getting smacked?
Well, which guy that's got smacked off the quarter panel ever went viral? Outside of the time that they got smacked off the quarter panel.
That's true.
They don't care. It's all.
Yo, it's weird as fuck to me. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like one of my wee boys, Cyrus, he's got a fucking car, and he's always out doing donuts, but he's safe with it. You know what I mean? He's not fucking running people over. There's nobody, and he's doing it here, but I guess people give him a bad name for doing it, but I don't understand the fear of having fun, Once
if you go to an environment where you're just rocking out and you're drifting in a place where there's nobody else, I don't see a problem with that. That's not takeover stuff. Takeover stuff
is the riot.
When you start having people get smacked left and right,
kicking the windows in.
Right.
That shit on fire?
Yeah, that shit becomes unruly.
Those bumpers. It's not cars, though. It's definitely not what we're used to.
I mean, no, listen. I'm not having anybody talk up to me that can't drive stick next to me. If you can't drive stick next to me.
Yeah, my mother can drive stick.
Exactly.
My mother drives stick and my sister drives stick. Because in Ireland, there is no automatics. Everything's stick. If you can't drive manual, you have to drive an automatic car. You can't get a manual license. You get an automatic license.
They have two different licenses?
Correct.
They should have that here.
Yeah.
They should have it here.
To drive
so that way,
so
everybody with an opinion that comes up and has an automatic license, your opinion doesn't always count.
Invalid, fuck off.
No, you can't talk here. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. But so it's true. You know what I mean? You got women in other countries driving, and you can't do it. Like, it's another thing about backing up the trailers, too. A lot of fellas don't know how to drive trailers either.
It takes a weekend to learn. Just driving around, it takes a weekend to learn.
Or just try a couple of times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people are scared to try it as well. Yeah. What does the future of import drag racing look like to you?
Well, that's a really tough question.
Like with EVs coming in,
I mean, I think EVs are going to be here, and I think they're going to be an option. I don't think gas motors are going anywhere permanently. I think a lot of times people are still going to want the option. I'm sure that.
Then we don't have the power for it anyway.
Yeah.
It's standard, so.
Yeah, and at the same
Anybody
time.
that tells you otherwise is lying.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Tesla truck is stupid. I don't care.
I like the look of it. She hits it.
She's right. She's right. It looks like a rolling triangle.
It's funny.
It's a rolling triangle.
I like it because it's odd. I don't like. I don't think it's good looking. I just like it because it's odd and it's different, and I like the fact it's American made.
I mean,
We don't
it's
have
a
many
terrible
American.
example of American.
Yeah, but there's very little to compare it to.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, there's very. I think there's one other company here, man, Evan Schaefer, whatever he's called, the man from. He makes the clothes, the hunting gear, and it's all made down to every stitch is made in America. Yeah, forget the name of the
I
company.
mean, I just feel like the truck itself is like, it's a fact.
You ever drove one?
I've been in one. A Tesla?
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, they're quick. But
You don't have to use the brakes.
I don't like the fact that at the end of the day, right, somebody could hack into it and park me where I need to be. I'm not doing that. Like, that's not happening on your Civic.
No. But they've been doing that. There was a politician, they overran his car and fucking ran him into a bridge or something. It was on Joe Rogan. I forget the actual fucking details of it, but they took over his car and it's a classified thing. And that was a gas car.
They can't take over Civics.
No, definitely.
They can't take over Civics. So.
Unless you got a flathead screwdriver.
They have to physically be on.
Yeah, 100%. All right, but I don't. I like the innovation behind them, but I'm not a fan. I wouldn't really buy one.
I mean, if they continue with it, I don't mind them competing. I just don't feel like it's eventually going to be all about EVs. I think when it comes to import drag racing, I think both the companies and the drivers have a lot of work to do. I think it comes down to there being, I don't want to say a little more organization because I feel like import drag racing is decently organized. It just doesn't have all the levels that need to happen in order to build great drivers at a pro level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think at a pro level, you need to work on helping drivers understand how to be polished at times to bring in more sponsors to the sport.
I feel like we also need a track that's more racer friendly. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Like almost like a union.
Yeah, I agree. But it's like, in order for a track to be racer friendly and exist, when it has events, everyone has to show up. It's such a vicious cycle.
Did you ever go to English time? I've never been.
Never been.
I was close before I came here. You know.
That's a crime.
That's
a crime.
English town. So I wanted to bring it up. And you said earlier as well about import the domestic World Cup. I've never been to World Cup. I got to go to World Cup. Never been. I'm gonna go this year. I think I'm gonna go this year.
You know, listen.
Just to spectate, obviously.
Listen. World Cup.
The Super Bowl of drag race, you know. Sonic told me I have to go.
You know, it's incredible. Yeah. Like Jason Miller, and Miller Brothers production. Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah, he just passed away, right?
Yeah. Amazing. They put on the best drag racing event.
What's so different about that one compared to
Everything.
Give me a specific.
Like, it's the big show. There are people who wait all year to win at this event. They won't go to events a little bit before it in preparation of it. They come with 3 motors, 3 transmissions.
How do they call it the World Cup? Like, what makes it the World? That's just what it's called.
I mean, you get people from all over the world. You get people who bring in their cars on containers or
And there's no slow cars, right? There's a limit.
They got a bump stop. And the bump stop can change every year. You know what I mean? Jason decides that. Rules typically change too by a little bit, right? A lot of times you don't see the imports winning. But every now and again, you get a year where, like, I remember when Adam Hall won an all-motor. I mean, there was a Civic that won all-motor on World Cup. Yeah, that's unheard of. Like, the parking lot grumbles were incredible. Can you believe that Civic won on your back Mustang? She was real. I loved it. I loved it the whole time I heard that. And it was like, that's what makes it great. Because it's one of those races that everybody's there for
That type of person
that trophy.
is a domestic. Those people do sound like that, though, right? That's a lot of countrymen who like them.
They wait to see the imports go down.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy about it is, and I say this all the time, yeah, it's easy to see like why an American muscle car would do better in the quarter, right? They've got all the torque in the world. But never forget, all this turbo technology came from imports. None of that was being researched or relooked at on LS motors or Pro mods at any point in time. It was always blowers. It was never turbos. They were all about, the first 100 feet, right?
Eighth mile. They all do eighth mile.
Eighth mile. They all do eighth mile. So that's where it mattered.
Which is half the track.
But when you go quarter mile and you see an all-motor Civic versus an all-motor notchback, and it takes off in the beginning but then catches up top end, you begin to recognize
the race is
there's
only
something
getting
to it.
going.
Yeah. And a lot of turbo technology that these cars are using now on these fast-ass Pro mods are coming from imports that were doing that testing because they didn't have the extra 4 cylinders that had themselves.
Have you heard they were talking about making a 4-cylinder LS?
I would love the idea. I'm a big LS fan. I love the motor. It's stupid simple. Yeah.
I got it in my Suburban too.
Yeah, the bus outside, it's a big. I got an LSA blower for it.
But I can't. Escalade you have gangsters. I can't get an Escalade now. You know what I mean? So when I get an Escalade, that's MTV crib stuff. You know what I mean?
It's a bus, but it can tow and enclose. That's all that matters.
I know. You have bags in the back?
I do have bags in the back.
I swear, dude. I gotta put bags in there.
Yeah. That way it
doesn't wheel. Yeah. Don't go when it's wheeling.
No.
I got one more question for you.
Yeah.
How do you race if you're broke?
You don't.
So like if you're a low income family or you're a kid if you're watching this and you want to get into racing but you don't have any money, how do you do it?
Figure out your life first. Do that first. I'm going to tell you right now.
What if racing, like if you feel like that's all you have?
I mean, you can race and not have. You can race and have something stop.
Do you ever see how the reason why I ask that, right? Like if you're a swimmer, you can bet your whole life on swimming. If you're a runner, if you're a footballer, or a soccer, whatever it is that you're doing, you can go chase that. But if you want to be a racer from you're 5 years old and you start telling people, I'm going to race cars for a living when I'm older, they'll tell you you're fucking nuts.
I mean, no, that's not true. I think what's big about it is you got to remember, like, if let's just say my son wanted to do racing, which he wants nothing to do with it. But if he did, there was always the ability as opposed to put him in football or baseball to put him into go-kart racing, track racing. You have to remember, skill set is what matters.
You got no money. You're not racing go-kart. So if you come from a family with no money and you go to mommy, I want to go-kart racing.
Well, it's like asking how do you, if you're at a point where you can't.
Well, like with football, it's really like, I don't know, there's teams out there that will take you under the wing is what I'm saying.
I think you have to find that same type of kindness in
school almost. You know what I mean? Like it's like a lot of these sports are in school. Racing's not in school.
Yeah, racing's not in school. That's a very good point. I think the hardest part about it is you have to have money to be able to race.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be broke and be a racer.
You need to figure out life first and then go racing. Yeah, you need to figure out because I'm not saying you can race with any car. Yeah. If it's got 4 wheels and it can go, I don't care how fast it goes. You can find a place to take it to, whether it be a secluded place, which I don't recommend, but a secluded place,
allegedly.
or an organized place, right?
Yep.
But that's the way to begin to go about it. But you first have to get your life together because you need a vehicle in order to race, and vehicles cost money. I don't care how old, how new, they're going to cost.
You shouldn't really be racing your deal.
Yeah, you shouldn't be racing your deal. You need to get your life in order first before you're doing that. Like, if my bills weren't paid first, then I couldn't be racing. That's it. That's part of it. Once you begin racing, I'm not saying you have to have a fast car. You could have something that you bought for $400 that barely runs, but you can practice driving it wherever. Do that. And then when you get a skill set, sell it to somebody. Show somebody you can do something with it. Help them help you get a car. But you need a car to learn how to really drive a car.
In America, do they still have driving ed in school?
They used to have they have drivers ed.
Seeing
it's
classrooms with the steering wheel in a classroom.
Yeah, they have it. It's just separate from school. It's like an additional thing. Like not everybody has to do it to get a license, but
Because I always found that crazy that they had that, but no one drives a manual. And I'm like, you're teaching people how to drive a screw, you don't teach them how to drive a manual. You know, in like Finland and countries like that, they teach you how to fucking control a car on ice. They teach you how to, because it snows fucking 90% of the year. So all the best drivers in the world apparently come from Finland. All the rally drivers.
oh, I bet.
Because it's ice all the time.
Oh, I bet.
They're driving on ice all fucking year round, you know. So you learn how to control a car properly.
That's wild.
You know?
That's crazy. Yeah, but if I mean,
But I found it crazy about America that fucking, you know, they were teaching it in school, but they weren't. They were teaching you how to get a license. They weren't really teaching you how to drive.
no, and they don't do that, and I feel like that's why you have so many garbage.
Joke here.
That's why you have so many garbage drivers now.
It's a joke though. It's not even funny how easy it is. Like, it's fucking crazy. I've never like in Ireland. You have to know how to open the hood. You have to know how to dip it for oil. You have to know where your power steering fluid is. Then you have to know how to drive a manual. You have to be able to do a hill start. You have to be able to reverse around the corner. You have to be able to do 3-point turn. You have
Reverse around the corner.
reverse around the corner. That's part of the test.
I like that.
You got to reverse around the corner without hitting the curb.
I like that.
Yeah. Reverse around the corner. That's part of the test.
I've done that in the Escalade. We're not gonna talk about it.
And it's pretty cool. Like you can't. A lot of people don't do the test in their own car. You have to go to you have to get a learner, and you have to go. You know, it's pretty fucking efficient.
That's crazy.
Even to get your inspection back home, we have a government test center called the MOT Center. Everyone has to go to the government test center to get their car inspected.
Really?
Yeah, like see my car, we got a rust in the back.
Yeah.
Failed. Off the road, sanctioned. Not allowed to have a rust in the car. Has to be fixed. You won't get inspection. Crack windshield, car off the road. Not allowed car. Turbo car, engine swap, car off the road. Everything has to be done by the book. And if it's not done by the book, you can't have it.
That's crazy.
It's like
That's
fucking
a dictatorship.
communism.
Oh my.
It's the Brits.
That's crazy.
It's the fucking Brits. Yeah.
That's crazy.
They own part of my. So Ireland, you have 50 states. We have 32 counties. 26 counties in Southern Ireland, which is called Ireland, and where I live is part of Northern Ireland. We don't like to admit that, but 6 counties in the north called Northern Ireland, which is part of Britain. We spend English money to run their English route.
So great British pounds.
Yeah, and if you drive 40 minutes down the road, you got to change the money to euros.
Brexit.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, that's
Yo, you think the politics is bad here? You want to see the fucking shit over
I see
there?
it. I see it. I see it.
Mental.
First, I've seen it first. It's crazy.
Fucking mental. You got anything you want to promote or anything you want to say?
Well, I would say NYCE1S.com. It is what it is. Go to the website.
Official.
Check out official NYCE1S.com. Nice Motorsports Management. And if you're into racing, support racing in any capacity. Support any promoter. It's local to you. Go to it. I don't care if you don't like certain people there, what have you. Make peace, but show up. I think racing needs that right now, and I think the more you hear that from somebody else, the more you should tell somebody else that same.
Like me as well. Like me saying, like I want to go to Panama so much. My heart was set. I almost feel like stop being a cheap cunt. Just go. You know, because what you just said.
Yeah.
You know, because if we don't go, they're gonna go away.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
it's tough. Even if you just spectate, even if you're just there, sometimes that drives something else. You know what I mean? Your presence at a spot, you could run into a company that you had no idea about, start something totally new, that drives something not just for you, but for the sport itself. Never forget the power of just one person.
And I've never went as a spectator. I haven't tried. You know, I'm always going as a racer. You know, and it's like there's so much going on when you're racing. You don't really get the. But I would like to maybe go. I should go as a spectator.
Yeah, go as a spectator.
Yeah.
Go
You
with
get to learn about the sport. As
yeah,
well,
go with somebody who's already gonna be racing.
Yeah.
Be a part of the pit crew, support them. Watch the track. Line up a car when you're going down the track. It's different when you line up a car versus when you're in it. You're gonna learn a lot when you do that.
How do you do the things?
Yeah, that's what you did. Yo, you're gonna learn a lot when you're the person who's lining up a car. You gotta remember, like,
you know how close the beam is.
I never trust a person lining up the car unless there's 2 people. Let me tell you why. Because the person who is lining up the person that's in front of you that's calling you in is just getting you to the beams, right? Mm-hmm. That's important. The person from behind should be telling the person who's getting you to the beams where to put you.
Straight.
Because they can only see the grooves from behind.
But you could be cockeyed.
Yeah, you
take
can't
off in a
see it.
fucking-
You can't see it up front. I can put you in the groove right around the line, but I'm not able to look up and be like, all right, where are you going to end up? Only the person that's behind you is going to be able to do that. You need two people lining up a car. If you're going to use somebody, there needs to be two of them, one of them seeing the groove from behind, another one of them seeing the beam and the groove up front. You get your best
That's
time.
a great fucking.
Yeah, they got to be able to see the track all the way down.
Especially in the all-wheel drive shit.
Absolutely.
Shit's coming out here. I see
Full four-wheel drive too.
Man.
Yeah, you got to know that 60 foot. You got to be able to make sure that 60 foot is down.
1, 2, 60 foot, them boys are hitting. Flying out the whole
Gone.
I think
But
1, 5, 1.
That's people. After a while, I think drivers get to know their tracks pretty well, so they know what the groove is, they know where it's going to be, they've seen the track before. But if you're newer to the track and you're really competing for big money, don't risk it. Get two people, one who's lining up the beams, another one who you trust that knows the track, who's been on the track when you were in the pits, who saw the temperature change, who saw the last time it was cleaned up, who's making that call for you is important if you want to win, because it's not even a sliver of a second that you're talking about 10, 20, 30 grand. Yeah, don't muck it up.
Shit's on the line.
Yeah, it's on the line.
New England Dragway, I've never been to it. What, you've been there before?
We're going to be there
I
soon.
know, that's what I'm saying.
Yo,
I wanna go.
New England Dragway.
Yeah, I heard they're strict though.
They're super strict.
Yeah. But that's good. That means everybody's going to be in the right shape. And
Yeah,
you don't get no cowboys coming down next to you.
But the track is typically on kill out here. The competition is a lot of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And Massachusetts loves the street race. Shout out to Mass. I know y'all like the street.
Mass Productions, that kid,
Yo, man, Mass Productions is great.
Another guy from New York, I really like This Ain't Mexico. That's some
Yeah, he's dope. He's dope.
As fuck,
But
man.
I
got
love
a
Mass
sticker on my
Productions.
car.
Does he?
Yeah, I got a sticker on my car.
I love Mass Production. I think Mass Production, Miguel is top notch. Another guy who really knows his camera work, knows
Yeah,
his
really
story,
good
he's driving
videos.
good. Like he's dope at what he does, bro. Miguel, shout out to
Them boys be
Miguel.
racing in the fucking woods.
They race forever,
Yeah.
except the track. Except the track. So that's the one thing I would say.
The Mexican
Yo,
track.
I'm gonna tell you right now, like this is probably our last time in New England Dragway because we want to try something a little bit new next year. So for Mass, if you were planning on coming out or you said you get there next year, ain't gonna be a next year.
This is it.
This is the last year.
So happy you said that because like the thing with ACO, no one fucking told us. I wish they
Yeah.
had told us because we would have held the burnout for longer. You'd have fucking did, you know, you'd have took a picture, you'd have did something, you know what I mean? But this year telling us this is the last time.
This is the last
No.
time we're doing H-Day at New England Dragway. So for those who are in New England, that's the area that I'm from, we're always talking about, I'm going to get it in, I'm going to race, I'm going to do this, that, and the third. This is going to be your last time to do it where it's really local.
I'm coming.
You're going to have Maryland, right? Maryland's going to be there. We have a long-standing relationship with that track.
I love Maryland tracks.
It's probably the best in the country.
I keep getting my shit stole.
Robin?
I keep getting my shit stole down there though.
Who? Where?
Stole my scooter the first year. She fucking the first year we went, she crashed on the scooter. Fell in the staging lanes, fell off the scooter. She got fucking 10 stitches in her knee, fucking road rash down her side, rushed her off the hospital and shit. Bro.
And somebody stole it?
With a hit day official took the fucking scooter off, said I'll keep that for you, and fucking long story short, came back, it was gone. We ended up having to search all around the grounds, but we found it in the clutch fucking in the trunk of his car. I had to take it back off, and I'm like, oh, you're a scumbag. You seen my wife fucking bleeding, you did that to me anyway. I said, you're a rat bag, and just walked away.
That's crazy.
Right? So then the second year we went, we had a fucking 3-person tent that we put her and the dog in so they can lie down while I'm doing it. You know where bees and there's nowhere to fall.
Absolutely.
It gets rough. So we put a little tent with a tarp, sleeping bags, all that shit inside the tent. We went, stayed in the hotel, we left the tent all up, and we came back the next day, everything was gone. Whole tent, sleeping bags around. It's like, what the fuck, this is weird as fuck.
Yo, come by our booth.
Yo,
Yeah, make sure.
yeah, I gotta come closer next time.
Because I'll be honest.
I was waiting in the sticks, you know what I mean? No, but I've never experienced that at fucking racing, and I was like, what? Both times in Maryland that happened, I was like,
Yo, Maryland's rough for that because it's a big draw in that town. Like, that racetrack is a big draw. They know a lot of bigger things happen.
you know, and
Yo, I got my phone stolen in.
and someone said to me, "Oh, well, you shouldn't leave stuff to track." I said, "Bro, we're all family here. This is not the place to steal. You know,
Yo, I
come in
was
here and fucking
super
race."
tight. I was, yo, I'm in Maryland. I do
Was you
media.
the one that was posting a phone was missing?
Yeah,
that was
I
your
found it. Yeah, I found it. Yo,
I've seen everybody and their granny posted that fucking a phone's missing and fucking hits
Yo, bro,
I
I was literally like, I had my headset on, and I heard the music leaving. Right? You know how when your phone gets distant, like it'll start to break up a little bit? I was on track shooting. My phone fell out my pocket. Somebody ended up picking up the phone and walking away with it. And the minute I was like listening, it started like flickering in and out, and I was like, yo, let me go see where my phone is. Look on the side, it's not there. I end up going to the tower, can't find it. I lock it, I message it, I put up that message, and it goes like quiet for like almost an hour and a half. Then finally somebody messaged me back and told me that they had it at the gas station when I got over there. I'm like, yo, I was like, so did you feel like it was a good idea to just take this like off property? It was like, no, I was holding it for you. I was like, what do you mean you were holding it for me? You didn't know whose it was. And it's off the, I could hear you if you were still on property. I'm at the gas station with you outside this property right now because you can't do nothing with the phone. Like, you got to watch your shit.
Yeah, you gotta keep your shit locked. So that's if you better fucking free game for you. If you're going to
let's go around. Lock your shit up.
But so I thought that because I've been to many events, Maple Grove, ACCO, fucking minute, and it never happened. So I was like, oh, this is legit. People always left their stuff. I leave my car. You know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah.
And now I'm going to think twice about leaving my car.
You have to because people know the events are happening there and they come out there.
It takes 2 seconds to unplug an ECU or fucking, you know, like shit like that. You know what I mean? You can fucking...
Yeah. Got to. Make sure priority.
And to be honest, if someone, sometimes the car be sitting there next to the trailer. If someone was to hook it up on put your car in the trailer, no one would really, I don't think anybody would stop them unless they really knew you. You know what I mean?
Oh, in Maryland?
Anywhere, for that matter. You know what
I mean? It depends. Because people, I mean, I feel like people have attempted it before and got caught.
Let me put it this way. If these events were in Ireland, shit would be going missing left, right, and center.
I believe it.
The shit is wide open
here. Yeah. It is.
Wide open.
It is. It is.
You know? Wide open. Like in Ireland, all the stores have shutters on the windows, bollards in front of the store so you can't drive a car into the front of the building. Every store. Like, it doesn't even matter if it's a doctor, a hairdresser, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a jeweler's. It's just any store has to have shutters on the glass, bollards in front of the door. Wow. When they come with excavators and pull the ATMs out the wall. They steal that fucking excavator, they tie a fucking chain to the ATM and pull it out of the wall of the building, smash the excavator, put it in the truck and drive away.
How much time do they got to do that?
Yo, gangsters, man.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Fucking gangsters. There's hungry people too, yeah.
There's
a difference when you're hungry.
Yeah, they try to eat.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Mental stuff.
That's
it's
wild.
different words. As I have people, they don't understand. They take it for granted here. We're very lucky to be from here.
Yeah, it's a
real blessing.
Yo, I appreciate you, brother.
Zoe, you're a
It's been a
fucking
pleasure,
star,
man.
man.
I
Thank you.
appreciate
You're a
it.
real legend. I can't thank you enough. I can't believe you did a fucking 2.5 hour drive to get here.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
You'll always have a space in my heart for that, man. And ever since I met you, your energy's been unmatched.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you so much, man.
Anytime, man.
You're a fucking
Anytime.
gentleman.
Thank you, man.
Everybody, thank you so much. Stay there, Lend to the Street Kings podcast. Yo, yo, yo.
Easy.